na ansa na no mabedwafo ba ye nti no na metu ma mo ntena ha saa ese ye di nkomo kakra nti o mansa na hene ba na ya dane ani na fe wono so ye ne na di nkomo no wi a na fe yatena sene asanto nkomo twetwe no so obviously esan se ye bre no ekoni nti no ya sere ye papa no so mama ye bre ni bi nka ho nti dan a mama ye bre ni bi di aka ho nti du ba ko ne ye pon no bi enne ebe buru du ba ko se de be ya ebedwafo nso bi nya ho kwan na de so mo ka bia no wo mo atumi aka ade aboa enti ena no pay bedwafo abeka mensa na ye be hyase edi nkomo ye mibenkum so pe ebobokman ebodi ene na wo fia de bia memi de bia ona ye deputy director of communication edema United Party formerly Movement for Change and afi Professor Enoch Opoku Entry and also a Dean of Business and Communication Arts Academic City University e wonkran ha na yeka amemu nso a wabi wo mu ye pa and afi Kofi Tonto National Communication Team member NPP Kofi away in the post bi anka ho
special aid to the former vice president.
Okay.
And also his deputy spokesperson.
Oh, okay. Nti na oye enkane no na mampani abedi akire Dr. Baumia na obodi chidom anase oye ne poma na ne nama brebia anase sie kasa nso no mampani abedi akire dada Baumia ne kasamafo no na bedi akire ene Kofi Tonto nti Kofi nso ewa ha ebe hye nkomo twetwe na na fe bripam no o mensa na hene ba na fe yama no abetina se na yeto nkomo twetwe no eso ba ene na ye nyina ye nua Solomon owusu ono na oye communication director de ma United Party oni nua ba da fam awudi na wotweda ne e won kran ya obu ye fa na odi na wotweda no
this area. Let me get the name right so that I don't misinform people. Yeah, I know the area, but the name. Yeah, let me get the name. Yeah.
Enti ye nua Solo edi ni sister na wotweda ne. Enti Solo bibia obi ano. Ye ma oshade pa Director of Operations edema special prosecutor so no so ade ato na nti bibia obi a also me ma oshade na me hwe bibia asem na esi na matumi aka ba me chinchinchimu a me hu bibia wa bedwa fo makwa aba bibia boko
nyame ado bibia ye
de radiase nti we de ye nhwe ye nkomo ye nhya se na fe finance minister ba na ye obeka ye ho na ye nyina tumi ade ye nkomo no me hwe de si ye ewo work na minim say enche bia no me yasrafo de nkrata baba bonten about measures a won be take say de be ya o china bibia tisa no ebi ankwankosi bio prof mama sha sem fan free so na me say we no na kan avoidable kan avoidable sanka kan yitumi yankan si tumi bibia be ka say ade we de ankan si
ejamida say mechia wotie for no wahefo e wo biase afa na nyina em say kamenya umaye nyina yan sorry for 1 minute yenye a minute of silence for sa my wensie ya omwatwa na nan monsie do acho mwa na yenyina
camera no nti ya gisi zoom amane
May their souls rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
Inya Abraham say we SS4 enya officers na ne high. Nipa 80,000 and I apply. They say half about 40,000 and I na qualify. Ejuma no so ye fa nipa 4,000 pe. And this wo hwe unemployment ejuma eni o mamu a megidi se bebre wo ho a na nka nye se soja no po na mmom adwuma ni ho nti ɔde amemrefe ɔsɛ mɛkɔ akɔdi soja no saa na ɔkɔ no abusua forms kura yɛtɔn no ɛyɛ 350 Ghana cedis imagine nipa bebrebe say forms a yɛtɔn obiara ɛtɔ forms 350 ɔkɔ kɔduru hɔ a ebinom nso mo kɔduru hɔ anadwo no before ɛwɔ akɔhɔ ebi kɔduru hɔ 1 am ebi kɔduru 2 am imagine sɛ wokɔyɛ physicals na wakɔduru hɔ anadwo before na wanya baabi ana na wogyina ntenten anaasɛ wode uti bɛhyɛ baabi na wamoa wo ho kakra ebeduru hɔ a yɛyɛ physicals kora no na o blood pressure kɔ soro na wo bibia ayɛ basaa ɛyɛ awerɛhosɛm na Bernie Spear can say be or say who will stand up for the people why in a big jina ama youth no say abusia aton adwapade kopa adwuma bra okoya awama okowu he hopes abusia for hope say obai kopa adwuma ba no de abeboa ye no ankobasa obai bi ho be na dwen say me kopa adwuma nya kra sebe ono ade ne ho besi ho apɛ sika bawe no mi de omo kopa adwuma na aye e de abo abusua na okoya wansa ma biem e ya rehosem na saa nneema we nyina no could have been avoided easily esan say samre ye wo mu technology e namfo nka ye free bi simulation e wo military mu simulation no esese ye chicha omomu in batches and say nipa e work na kwa see nipa over 5000 na e wo ho obi ekuta ne forms na ode ma obi say na we atwa fa we so ye obi na ege forms no ye nya niema say in the 21st century nka see ye chichem e da say e da dwoada nipa 1000 mo behia e wo ho mo behia na officers ne behwe mo bibia na fe mo go through mo physicals e da binada nipa we no beba nti ya chiche mo musa da bia no we beko weekend because ye selections no ebinim cry free say na ye selection na wie e wo back door nti no okokra anya de obenya but okọ anyway esanza anya hwe no se ye penny 5 cry wo ma no mugina we bia na ya fa no esase ye niam yie ye niam ese ye ni yie pa na ye ma nwuma dɔɔso awɔ man mu
ye kase nwuma dɔɔso nwuma be na be dɔɔso won se concentration ni nyina akwakoye se abanyadwuma obi a wie school a abanyadwuma ye be den na ma aban so kakra bi keke no fa
so wo hwɛ statistics ene the way I research ye adwuma nka ye nipa be 35 million no ye hia workforce be 12 million a on betimi aye adwuma ahwɛ yen aboa yen esan say ye social security system no kra no omo ye adwuma say workforce no no mo tua na di tua omo tua da omo ko pension sika but dipa 12 million say enye omo no aban awo mu be 4 million eko 5 million aban na ye omo ya kan ye private sector nti private sector no nso so hia say on be creating nyuma but private sector nyuma no the private bills on the public all over the world and they say onkwa wontimi enye lorry kwan eno ya ban adwuma onkwa wontimi nye bridges onkwa wontimi nye hospitals any schools saa nyama ni nyina na parks recreational parks ni nyina no ya ban adwuma police any military nyina no ye protection ni nyina ya ban de nti until the public sector no aye na adwuma no private sector no bre esan say private sector bi akobie factory ewo anyinahin ana se kro bi ewo wasa na lorry kwan na nya ye de aduane no beba abeduru kromu a ebeduru na pro anasa say esan say yen ye produce organic materials organic food nso enche na pro enti say ya kwan ye yie say railways me budget ye beka ho asem yanka railways ho asem say railways nso ye yie uko Europe everywhere you go railways omu nhia lorry kwan esan say ukofa uber sika beje no ba ofa railway a 8 euros 10 pounds no wadu enti say e sa ade no na ye kan ho asem eye adwuma de from number 1 to 56 adwuma ebi ye software na ebi ye factories na ebi ye omomunyuma omo ha nipa 5 nipa 10 abanzo susu mi adwuma ewo district bia constituency bia no e wo 276 constituencies pe aban ebi adwuma bia na say in advanced countries omo ye no say ukọ krobofo man mu a eye mango na ewo ho pa nti na ebi mango factory na obi anya bia ye say adwuma no ba direct employment in say fa nipa 100 a indirect employment ni be fa nipa obia wa at least nipa 3 or so depending on na just say nipa 400 na e benefit directly and indirectly from say adwuma no say yakoba bia akoma dan na tomatoes a na see tomatoes factory not only that but ye be mango first ye be tomato first enti mango first ye nyina ye kokrobo forma mu ye kosomanya anase kroboduma se na mango festival ye nyina ye akotran na ye the investors beba amobi ahu omo be process mango no ni nyina festival ye yi weekend be for mango ni ye kwa akoma dan tomato san advanced country omo ye no enti nye se ye si factory no keke ba ye beba ho dawro esan se ye nim se ye nuanu bi de bayre ne bode efi nkrase ba but beduru ha marketing no ye problem why better to ko gu abobloshi ni ye ton of fofo a afa na nipa kro to no so di ko jowulu na wakoto na bode ana se East Legon because Ghana han location bia abo e different utika mu kra ton ade ma we different enti sanya mani nyina se ye hwe ni ye de plan ye budget me ba na nka be de nkate bi ba ikoto nkate no wo baby a store ya ye to ade bebrebe friend saying India for store Malcolm nkate no ene ye mai de ya we hwane hu ye de ye kama esen no ba eno no wo nsuo rubber say mu ana ye de ayi label afa ho say FDA approved na nkate de den na FDA approved nkate a woko chene mu enti niam bebre koso a esese ye budget bi a ye read no sometimes it na me hwe ye budget ye read a na ma wo so meti budget e read a ka story about oman no senya akoduro ne kwan befa so a ye be move forward ni affect oman no enti se u be read budget en ya nka no kran say ye sika sam nye ye lorry kwan nye ye ni railways na se for epadwuma a teacher for sika de ma omuni ye se creative arts for sika de ma omuni ye se ye be ye ade wotama sanya mani nyina no yakeka bom ye hu se sika he ne ye wo na sika he nso ne betimi a spend e se abusua yatena na ye ka se na me wadwuma me ire wadwuma se me ire adwuma se aka me nkwa ma adwuma enti ye ni sika dodo a betimi ahwe abusua no enti ene ye behwe ne ma bi a ye betimi atwa so awa abusua mu kane ne ebia ne ye ton san create na wotwe bia ne ya benom se no ye nton san create biem ye beto be na enum na ye to aduane a yihia ba bia ne ato ye ntoto aduane basabasa biem ye beto no ebum in bulk na se na be ye beso yem for bosome no abusua ne na tena se make that decision sana budget tie enti ye hu so man ye sika sem se na tie se na ye nso ye spend ye be de ne ye nya sika e de akohye sane a ye spend num se ye sika ni so a isanse budget ya ye ready kire ni ye revenue ba bia nya sika free no esua ene ya sign a take COVID tax nso free so enti no ye sign VAT no so ye restructure no from 21.9% to 20%. And to me say aban ayade a all take taxes so ye free be contentious issues obi a fi say see tua tax we ase but tax no why ye ntua ne sen esikafo ntua dodo na hiafo ntua ketwa ebi we free be progressive tax so wo call baby to say Scandinavian countries Norway no ma say adwuma wo ye bia no ye wo tax ye tua say ye chew police chew so wa ye boni a na ye hwe adwuma wo ya ma tax dodo esin obi a woni sika obetimi atua enti e wo sane a obi a ye na ade efa but ultimately no nie hia any say timamufo no eho behin ha omo say budget na ye no say cedi no akosoro say ye inflation akofom say foreign investors enya confidence we economy mu a say e fail won crofo pocket say enei say na meto emo ba ko 650 Ghana cedis emo bag na say abedru 450 a na say me to mo bag bia na me save a 200 Ghana cedis nti me to dodo na me de ache nkrofo a 200 times maybe a 50 bags no ahe na me save sa NSS ehu budget na se ehu ni say politics na me ye we na we abeto aso nti nia oye ni nyina no ye ne ye hya ase na be ya na akoye budget nya politics per se ba ya no politics say ye kan ye oman ne akoduro ye sikasem ne ye pese ye ebu atichafo ne ye say ebu ekrefo aban ye ade bi a manage ho pa abakuafo o say agric and a construction this yi ni focus no unim say wo ko sama ewo abrochire ba bia say Europe and North America e kwan say ye ni igina so 24/7 ye kwan say construction ye ba bia sika wo pa enti ye kwan nyina enye no ye big opportunity for employment my enti ye kuma se kwan ye se 4 lanes here enya ade e bro ye so because Atlanta Georgia wo 8 lanes here 16 obo ye ni party say ya enti se ye kuma se ni ya ba mu 4 lanes here ne dey akọ Cape Coast ne ya kwa kosi nkwanta ne ketekrache a hwe nuane efi nkurase anka beba krom nka aduane emoyen dada bi ebenya bibi edi mo me yendiri mu big nyanya nyama kese sanse eye yi a yenya na yema yen me emfa me ho sandisi ne beye anase MPP ne beye enkwan ye da nye nyina se nya bitafre na ye nyina enkoso na oman nye yie na ide bia politics na mo yese na we na yese na we yese emoyen kra
Prophet Medanse Kofi me hu de see ye no yenum se ya fankwada but de see ye no em se ebobi apusa ebobi a say na how come sana me bisa Prophet no sana me bisa won so say anka ye betumi ye hu bibi ye ni bi infomso ana say planning and I say we were overwhelmed about the number of Crawford Bayana.
Me nua medase nchia me nua panyi o ha ne me nua panyi to o ha na ne first time me nua na me san komo we ye share ni di ase no me di kan aka se me mfa nya amanyosem because me ka se me de ya amanyosem a ye woni ma bebre a metimi aka ebegu aban we hu fin eche so ma anya ne ma bi but so yes anso a ma me na o tifie na ne be free mu but ka say oh yeah insensitive towards that person just say when hu nipa no mobo e wo na re ho semu na re ho mremu tina me try so much say me politicize me bo MPP fo nyina anso abaso asemi bae we've done our best say young politicizing. You know, can they politicize it? Because there are history. And someone bar or more politics. Nipewa bar or more politics. But I won't do that. I want to say measure assem no senicity. The other kind say, and I know an year no more de announce song and a process. So question your baby and say, a year day na fade omote so ba enamienu edi ne pusa omo a ema omote so ba enamienu na omote so ba e no edi enhyehyeye e no moye because die nyina yenim ni se nipa dodo a omode omo nkrata e ba ye se omo pese omo ba benya Ghana Armed Forces adwuma ne bi ye na omo nim the military no mo nim nipa dodo adentina make asa because obia o register e bia no omo send a message nti me wo messages ni bi wo ha ankofo e dey send me omo ka say so and so ada say bra air work for process and omo say body bibi nti answer no mo send message no mo nim say nipa pem ana nipa wo ha and I invite you. The second question is, baby, are we inviting nipa na ba no? Ne capacity to say. What is the building code? Sabi na me bra panyi kan abrochira asem. Abrochire nka edan a yewo mu yi. Ye betro capacity number aye den ato ho. Nti wura mu e be ka tro se sa dan we die betimi afa nipa wo ha. Nti se bro so wo ha ne ba akokra na
wo bi ka.
Emra no wo bi ka. Me ka say Nancy a program in New York just about August here. Now event organizers no any event hall owner no agreement omoko and say nipa 200 and a beba. But event organizers ni promote two event no. On the day of the event I'm paying 43 te hono. Na nipa 300. Because say event organizer and they will free say 200 no way ba no no one nim say event owner no or count it. Nti as almost serve aduane ni nyina no mo count it. Ti ete wa no mo ba say o ma count to. Enipa wo inside 280. Omo outside. Omo gina hallway no mo so ebro. Nti omo ma 15 minutes. Say ye nyi nipa no omo gina hallway nim ene omo inside ne so na medru 200 na omo ne omo agree they will shut down the program as I grow 15 minutes ne so ya yentimi but na omo ya announce oh yes so mo we sorry kakra we 15 minutes and a penny partner so see by see additional 15 minutes. You think they are joking? They come and aggressively make sure say omo ma obi freedom and I'm pam within 15 minutes no omo pam obi a e ma ne ka nipa 200. So the question is say work efa nipa sen. It is a Ghana Armed Forces nim say work efa nipa 5,000. Then the second question is say nipa sen na Ghana Armed Forces invite omo ba that day. Na accountability na yeden e shase. Because we nim say efa nipa 5,000. Now we invite nipa 15,000. The question is, identity now we invite nipa 15,000. Now we nim say efa nipa 5,000. Wonso a Agya Kwabena o man stagger o. Ye kasa staggering na. Ka wetimi aka say okay. 50 efa 5,000. But 5,000 at a go. Enti no anopa ebi nipa 4,000 mra. Because still now efa 5,000 no. Because of exercise now we no. Ubesisi tent ni ade. And you have to accommodate for all of that. Nti ebi anopa nipa 4,000 mra. Momo beba from ebi an 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Nti message na ebe kono. Na mo chem mo group we there mo beba from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Na mo sa send another message to another group. Mo beba from 1 p.m. to this p.m. Pacho what you say? It is a 15,000 na kra na pese o ye a day a. Wo betimi achichem. We dey no an say o send a message ni ma obi a o. Enu nti na na say me wo fa eken. Ahomachi 2 o'clock. Na nkra na gina ho. Because they know say enipa ebeba no ebabro so nti say wo anko 2 a.m. anko di line tamo a. Wonya asem. But the fact of the matter is say nkra na say omo be bie omo ma omo 6:30 wo hwe message na omo ma omo 6:30. But time a omo be bie no na ekobo 8 a.m. So a lot of lapses. Now Agya Kwabena dey ba ko atwetwe aso ne say nipa 80,000 ye gi obi a mo say forms no mate so dey about 200 cedis. Ye gi obi a 200 cedis. That's 16 million. 16 million Ghana cedis. But ye nyina ye so enim say o fa nipa 4,000. E nipa 4,000 what on forms ama nipa 80,000. 4,000 nso unim say protocol be fa mu 3,000. Enti omo ba ho no 80,000 na e ba ho. Less than 2%. Go 1% here 800. So less than 2%. And I wait me ahead after. So the question is, are there now nipa 80,000 sika? Now nim pefe say nipa 80,000 emu 1,000 pe na offer. When nyina ye niema sebi o etwetwe aso. When nyina ye niema etwetwe aso. Nti Agya Kwabena me de sa na meka no say to be honest niema bebre etoche a esi ehwehwem. Agya Kwabena me no kan asem isi ya wada o. Ene ye memeneda. Enefuwa 9 ena aba. Enefuwa 9 na aba no. Me no ti hei. Panyin ben ena agi atum se me na me ye panyin a me da saa niema we nyina no. Nti me agi atum se enfumso na bae no efiri me. 4 days.
Makuvisa isa asoma wokai. Ye wosa suno se Ghanafo ebia bibi besi na brochire bibi kitua bi kurasi a na oni na oya ade na osema resign. Ghana ha ye wosa suni bi a beba se bia bibi sa aba no akase na me na se me ye adwuma mantumi anya ne yie nti me bra to se entansi wa enye yesu
entansi a eno nti na ase nyina ye boa na ne masesa. If you say nipa nkwa na ye ka ho asem na no a plane crash report by no or say helicopter no there na ewo in the right condition. But eniema bi a na esanke wo helicopter ni mu no na enim. Inti weather challenges ye nyina say abe clear say down drift eno ne ye mframa abe bo abe twe plane aba from na question I ebusa na say machines and equipment and sanka wo plane ni mu a ebetimi ama pilot na hu na nim na weather condition and all of that ka ebi mpo a ko betimi akonwan afa ba bi fufuro asa besi tin ka be take 30 minutes a ka be take bi a 1 hour 30 minutes but at least ko be ji nipa nkwa me kai say nanu ana ye tu kwan na ye free Kumase e na eba ye ba no enam se na weather na nyini nti no pilot ne ka kire say chise osa akonwan ansa no aiden wa bedru nkran but eye machines a omowo enti na omutimi hu say weather na ewo yanim no enye nti ye konwan ni ayeden aba so the point is plane crash the same armed forces eniema na ye say ewom no na nim enti nka the same armed forces are asem kese say ya tom August samu ye bibi e sa fa nipa ho a na nka ese bibi ka kire mo say baby a ye free ba no e ho true enti ese ye den ye careful enti e den na the same armed forces from August 6th breach kese e bo o man no to November when best 3 months the same armed forces SIS armed forces work CSR enti Agya Kwabena say yanka no kure na ewom na bibia ye de politics a e de how bebre be den ebeba eno nti na me betena me se anopai me mfa nya amanyosem de bia ye de amanyosem a na ye ja technocrat na omo ye implementation no na ye ja nti yenkobusa say why na se wo hwe emma recruitment process no ekoso why na head of human resource or head of recruitment at the Ghana Armed Forces processes are more fast wa omo de year recruitment is no processes no ewo hin when nyina ye nhihye ya ese ye hwe but aban ahyebo se nhwehwemu beba me gidi se nhwehwemu no sanke ye wo TV so a ebeboa na obia hunu de eso ye den ohun ti Agya Kwabena me de besi ha me nkasa bebre na ya stress de toso bio mebo President Mahama Abaso if we say assembly see no na I think so Kumase but ujaido ye bia e bae e behwe se e mofra no ho atomo mo te sen ne sa na me MPP ni na President Mahama Mpodie o de sabi ewuo aye politics da but me so ye bibi na ya de pa bekanfo na ma she ni kran say ye koye nimi onhwe se ne be ya akina bi bibi sa akwesi a ono nso nsa nyere emfa nkoye politics bi okay amebo na baso that's
papa Kofi Tonto ene de Kofi mama ehu se Ghana for ye different crowd na na du ba bi a ne marketing kiti bi ntina na atuye ne ma bi but ni nyina ka ho bi ana ma aye de sese ye no nti se me di kan e kan ye no ene anopa yi ye bedi enkomo kakra se na nka no na ye the original plan se ye behwe ne atuye na unfortunately no ne ma ka chiri kakra nanso ye say better late than never aha nti wa soso amame enani na nsa na nra ye nyina ni de si ye wo Ghana ha ne se omansa na hene e de yakwa amabosi ka ho nsam e betu dwa se budget no se di no ke kan nsam bebre na manfo so pepe bebre atie ebinum se wankan we obetumi aka ni nyina na so ntumi nka ni nyina why did you two ka ni nyina na uja bi ewo akire ebia na bi fufuru bi ho mo ye de aka ho a yenim na ka se hye yankomo hwehwe ase no wotwe na so dwuma ne dɔɔso nti no kɔ baabi ekɔyɛ bi wabayi yanso yabeje ye de ansa no bɛkɔ a wakɔ nti imama bedwafo ahome kakra na makominifa so na mede akwaba mama na akwaba o mai sana hene eye Dr. Ato Forcing dog akwaba
enu ya mpocho teden
adom na nso ye
de radiase
me say ye di ebre na fine na nso ni nyina no e ka ho bi
sorry what delay mo TV3
okay ni nyina ka ho bi ye da se pom se otumi abade amaye se ye maybe se tofa bomu no budget ya mo de baaye awa na ugina omampani anamu ekenka de kire Ghana for no ye ka se ye bo no tofa ye summarize ni nyina e den pa na ewo mu e de Ghana for
yo eja odzikan mechia Ghana for na mechia wo panelist na ibia ma botoro ha bia na ko dem do ha 8 but na mo TV station for no would delay me kakra on into the match. Okay. But to go straight to the point, oye 2026 budget nenan jinanzama ambassador 3 first Ghana finance dance there Ghana economy yamena dawroma we've gotten our rhythm back. And the storm has passed. And clearly, baby and yene namana no oya humtson yamana da Roma asodriaba. Menyo kase ye inflation wa befom. Yen sidi no ha yedzan. E kawa yedze wa befom. Revenue akoso. Yen the sustainability no risk will improve. Credit rating agencies will upgrade in. Growth were mado, particularly the real sector of the economy. Reserves were improved to levels never seen for a very long time. At the same time, baby a chronorocon, every outlook now were encouraging. However, with all the numbers we are seeing and the progress we are seeing, don't hear casting there, one bend the fadra, sustaining into the medium term. I'm a Ghana for what come out to 1 year. Another, oh yeah, progress you're making so far, no way too much. So the first leg of this budget is how to consolidate the stability. How to consolidate the stability, and so it is important today. The gains we have made, and we can consolidate it. Because when consolidated, then why did you even started the process to make the gains? And see, it takes policy and support from Ghanaians to be able to consolidate it. We'll do our bit in terms of policy, but we also require the support of the people of Ghana, so that you to consolidate or stability in the country in which we move forward. So that is the first leg the budget was standing on. The second has to do with abeno kwan na yeba fado na ye use gains ya ye making na ye accelerate development, at the same time creating jobs. In doing that, instead of spreading ourselves so thin, we said we will invest heavily in 3 key areas of the economy. The first is road, the second energy, and the third energy, agriculture. So you will see considerable investment in these areas.
Okay. We didn't know what a man for say 1%. Yet so nipa
hanti. And see, there can one salmon.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 3. Men can say one. Okay. Okay. Yo. Dam pedam can one salmon. The damenzama basen ya can one salmon. Okay. Oh yeah, the second leg in a corner ebe fadwa aban obe spend another obe investment in those areas or they do baba. No baby tibanaba. No way to more transform Ghana's economy. That is the second layer. Now the third also has to do with anytime you are doing another abanibia or year consolidation bia, there is a group of people or the vulnerable in society. And so we call it social protection. How do you protect the vulnerable, the poor in particular? So we have considerable also investment in the area of school feeding, leave, people with disabilities, special schools and all. At the same time, the education health budget has also gone up very much to be able to remove double track and to be able to also build more schools in certain areas,
education onto school dan into menu ho na yesisi teacher for one accommodation na oye health so we had earlier on promise to build oye regions hospitals and regional hospitals and where 6 be able to build the 6 for them, but we are beginning with the first 3. You told me the first 3 within 1.5 years, then we can do the remaining 3 in the 1.5 years. Then we have the security service, how to retool the Ghana Army in particular, and also the fire service. Today, fire service, one offended in fire tenders across the country and working. Eko baby kra na se ijato baby abi wa bakra na why hoto kakra ehwe bi wo social media do na za onye encouraging. We are building a country. You need to retool the fire service. Nyim baby a sebe asembesi. It can be you, it can be someone, but the fire service must get some basic equipment obotumwe dumija. And so the focus is on the security service and also on the fire service. But let me move to the rail sector. Baby a sebe transformation in a duma obotumwa akodo. With the energy sector, for every economy to be powered properly, another obotum wenyin, you will need reliable energy and you will need affordable energy. What makes power affordable? One, it's not just the thermal plant, but also the fuel that we're using. Over the years, since we had Atuabo gas processing plant in the ENI gas, yen consumption or cost, and as a result, in thermal plant ni nano, and gas na you're producing only enough until you resort into light crude oil. Na yokoto na yedum yede book power or ye electricity. As a result, oma power generation will be yeden, and sometimes the instrument to be a or ye doom so no. When we took office in January, we took a decision that the margin or the year immediately you to me a fixing. And how do we fix it? Today you don't see doom so. I'm sure you can agree to that. It's simple because Yetumi Abombodene Yen Jubilee partners and OCTP partners Akasa. In the last 6 months, we have added additional 50 million standard cubic feet of gas per day. So we have enough gas to power our thermal plant. But that is not all. We have some thermal plants here Kamwasama or emergency thermal plants. They should have left long ago because emergency thermal plants on normal power generation no because they came in as emergency and emergency rates are different from a normal rate. Okay, some of them will be exiting about 2027, some 2028. So we are proposing the government of Ghana to build its own thermal plant, 1,200 megawatts of power generation capacity. This is bigger than Akosombo Dam. Akosombo generates 1,080. This one would generate 1,200 megawatts, so that you know that the next 10 years, Dumsonadin, Ghana any problem with it. In doing that, AC power plant now, you will need fuel to power it. A quarter light crude oil is expensive, so government will first agree, as we are speaking with you, as I speak with you, we have agreed with the IPPs, independent power producers. In Temenyoka say, not IPPs, OCTP partners and ENI. OCTP partner and ENI. We've also agreed with the Jubilee partners, led by Cosmos and Talo. They are investing approximately, the two of them put together, about $4 billion United States dollars to bring up to 150 million standard cubic feet of gas per day to be able to produce 1,200 megawatts of power. That will begin January 2026. The production of the new gas field, by the time we the power now so you're producing or power plant you're building also we. So we expect that between 2027 December to June 2028, we should have 1,200 megawatts of power and its corresponding fuel to be able to power this country. And that, we call it gas to power. So that will mean power plant or your state owned. There's something your gas with more power. And that can guarantee this country affordable power and reliable power, at least for the next 10 years, until demanding ama dum soda adena yehuno forever and ever, at least for the next 1 decade. It will be a thing of the past. But that will mean that successive governments will also have to plan for the future and not to wait until consumption do demanding to a level a demand and supply will be meet and sana yakwa back to where we were in the past. So that is the first step. And you cannot grow an economy without power. And so it's the foundation of the growth that we are going to procure. If you want to attract investment in manufacturing, in exploration, in industry, you need cheaper power and reliable power. And that is where we are going.
I see. Unka say mo no can be about job creation and ade ho hia me ye pa. Esan say they see here e work yi. Menu se sanka enwuma bi bebre wo ho nanka maburu nya bi ye ya. Anka ye mai ni wo fase mu nkogo bebre sa. So ka job creation a ye nim say na nkoma ne ye di ansa na wo ba no. Ye nyere nim say aban ye fa adwuma ye fa kakra bi keke no fa. Na the private sector atumi afa bebre na. But private sector no so wo ka power asemu ye run we adwuma special IC ye run with this way na sefo nyina wo mo they are into manufacturing and one almost soon about power nebo
correct
nsuo ne nyina mahode bo almost sign soon say taxes ne ma hodro so and also almost nebo say if the private sector is the engine of growth say they are more candidate bia no a dey na mo ye e dey ma saa private sector no say na be omo betumi aheha omo no ma expanding na tumi afa mabu no bebiri aka ho
in every country private sector na offer impakese not the government. Even in the most advanced countries, private sector takes like 90% and government employs 10% of the population, the working class. In the case of Ghana, we have a population of 33 million, maybe the working population about 10 billion, 9 million people. Government of Ghana employs like about 1 million. 1 million now, your employer will take about 47%, 48% of total tax revenue. So you pay 1 million, what for 1 million, what for Fiscal fund 47%. And then what happens to the remainder of the population, the 32 million people? You need to build schools, you need to build hospitals, you need good roads, you need to protect the vulnerable and many others. And so you need a balance between employment and also to provide social good and public good for the people. So often is the private sector that you encourage one to be able to absorb. It is everywhere in the world. Now, for the private sector to be able to employ, private sector will survive government policy. Interest rate is coming down. See, a private business person, in the past, last year around this time, they were borrowing 35, 40%. Today, it's about 20-something%, 28, 26%. We believe by the end of the year and going into next year, the private sector will be borrowing in the teens, maybe upper teens, between 18-19%. They should be able to borrow that from the bank. And the way inflation is going, where the central bank is going, where T-bill rate is, will be able to assist the private sector to borrow less. The cost of doing business include taxes, particularly VAT. And what we've done also in this budget is to reduce the cost of doing business by 6%. One, if you look at the current VAT structure that we are trying to reform, it's a maybe a year day, or a COVID levy, it's a cost to business. Because even though it's treated as, VAT, you do not have the opportunity to deduct that from your input VAT. And so it's a cost to business. Number two, the decoupling of NHIL, get fund levies, from VAT, also means that you add it to your business cost, 2.5. The two put together 5%, plus COVID levy 6%. If you pay, decoupling if you are, it reduces business cost by 6%. In reducing business cost by 6%, we've given back 6 billion cedis to support businesses and households. In doing that, their profitability will improve. One profitability will improve, they will be able to plow back some of the gains that they have made to improve their business, or maybe employ some more. But I can say that the design of this particular budget, jobs, was the key feature in designing this budget. And so most policies are announced, apart from the social protection policies, we design it with its job creation potential. And so, for example, if we announce the national oil palm policy, how many people can we employ? It is proven all over the world. If you go to Indonesia, Malaysia, and others, they are saying that every hectare of oil palm plantation employs 3 people. Every hectare employs 3 people. 2.5 people. In the case of Africa, it employs 3 people because they use more mechanization than Africa uses, a little bit more labor than them. So if we are to do 100,000 hectares and we are doing 3 people, in the case of Africa, it's 300,000 people. But I was conservative. I used 2.5 people, thinking that in modern plantation, the people that may be going through the plantation and be doing the plantation, they will employ 2.5 because they also use machinery, just like what is happening in Malaysia and Indonesia. So 100,000 hectares we are trying to cultivate will automatically employ up to 250,000, or maybe scale it up to about 300,000, but I use 250,000. The kind of investment that we are doing in road sector, we are spending quite some significant amount. In the budget, you will notice that we have allocated 30 billion cedis to improve the roads of our country. 30 billion cedis under the big push infrastructure. So 30 billion cedis, we have identified key routes at President Mahama, Oroko Round, or Katiso, other contractors in Wastart. This 30 billion. There's UN metrics on job creation around roads investment. And it shows you the jobs you can create, direct and indirect. This metrics I'm talking about has been collaborated by the World Bank. In fact, there's even a study on Ghana. You can even check it even on your phone. If you Google it, you'll find out. The metrics tells us the amount of, if you spend $1 million, how many people you can create in jobs in terms of, road construction. We have also estimated that the budget we have allocated for this year, the contract we have awarded already, will be able to create up to 450,000 jobs in the Big Push area alone. Aside that, outside Big Push, Road Maintenance Trust Fund has been allocated 3 billion cedis. We have also allocated 4.3 billion cedis also to the Ministry of Roads themselves. So the two put together plus the Big Push will give you about 37 billion. Not only that, we are looking at other investment in agriculture. Okay. Nti fantina maka. Nti da mepeda maka bi onye de dem sika ye kawa iska ya bone tofan na ye da ma de yemfon koye oye kar kwanen ni na obotum aboa ema eyi ofred edwuma we create because the construction or labor intensive pa. True. Say how the fakaswe kwan do na fa you offend then it's a woman kwani. These are two areas that war your roads. If we need power work another, ibire kaka, ibire mix, ibire them, or one of the industries that will create a. So the amount of road construction across the country, we have estimated the number of people able to employ on. Into them estimation, it gives us 450,000 up to contractors now will move to site. That's the number of people we can employ. And it's based on direct and indirect. Some are being directly employed. Some only project no to them on construction when you do my obi so or quarry shop in a way you quarry no way no wako tefu in Kenya construction and be acquiring on kodo on so when you do my it been so why be otoninsu in sooner your construction and the mensuno on back until they ascertain or your direct and indirect jobs no cost. The power plant we are going to build, you estimate You saw the new Accra Kumasi Expressway we are going to build. We expect that to take us 3 years. And President Mahama, God willing, inshallah, he will finish this before he leaves office by 2028. And so some of the things we are putting in place and the structures we are putting in place, health, education, look at the number of schools we are building. All the schools will create jobs. Look at the number of dormitories we'll be building in the secondary schools. The number of categories, C schools, a year BBC, C school done to end the double track. Hospitals, a year BBC. Agenda 111 now, previous administration will leave it behind. We have picked 10 of them to complete. We want to finish them. Not only that, we have allocated an equivalent of $250 million to be able to finish some of the abandoned projects that previous administration or start your than EJ. But today, tackle the market circle. We want to finish it. We want to make sure the Kumasi, the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital Maternity Home, we want to finish it. We want to finish the Kumasi KJTR Phase 2. We want to finish that. We have a number of them that have listed. There are about 32 projects, of which we are targeting about 5 of them for this, the upcoming fiscal year, or year 2026, to finish. Then the next fiscal year, we can tackle another and finish it gradually. So, as I said, every single policy in this budget was designed with jobs in mind. Because, Ija, no kana yanka, but omani edubenyim, edubenyi Ghana ha, and Brante nembebun, no kwarum, they are suffering. I mean, it is so wrong for Obi to finish university and to wait for 6 years, some 5 years before they get job. And we have a responsibility as government to design policies in such a way to attracting. If we sit here and create impression that abanon kwetsin botuma fa nyimpa bebrea wa fagana fu na wo pedwuma ya, will be lying to ourselves. Sebeja here yetna hi, apart from me abanadwuma and honorable Vondia on so ye MP on so ya abanadwuma chenka fo hu na sebe mwana moye mwadwuma. But the truth is, you are still better off than a number of people away abanadwuma. Anamobwa. And when I here a piece from Unkutin what from Unkutin Polo, you are contributing. And you know something, oftentimes we look for the big companies, but you see, jobs are better created with the small, medium companies. Nimpakor ebia wa fa nimpa 5, you are for nimpa 3, you are for nimpa 2, you are for nimpa 3. Kakran boboma. As long as the income is decent, as long as the income is decent, is good enough. Inti your private hospitals wo, you be a doctor or a ban hospital, but since you're a doctor or private hospital, be ho aban or your nurse wa, instead of there be a ban befaden private hospital, so another private clinic wa fan. They are all part of job creation. Inti abandon responsibility in the obe design or your policies are another in share papa botum wabwa mo bi nso wenye duma or your factor, and we are mindful of that and we'll do that. And I just want to assure you the abandoning me there duma ho asem or issue wo mane mu nti ye be ye kakra na me sure the payment Ghana for akoma boto wonyem the duma reba nam kwando reba obaba so mo honso de wenye duma ye no
se hwe bibia kame say Ghana ha no obi oye hoho say abrofo adwuma enyini e o Ghana ha na womo ba obman no wo hihye bibrede ma womo say tax exemption in asefo nti emamutu be establish adwuma mo mu biemu ye bi ka biemu me pesa me advert ama company bi ese bibia beko bia no omo bibia omo toto ne ma no mu bie bibre oman no tax exemption since ani ma na de boa mo hiha omo but ye local people na ye Ghana fankasa no sa tax exemptions no aye shede nya bisa.
Thank you.
Nti no emayen ya bre no so abegwe na dwuma ya sama tax exemption no o wi an sika no de ko Ghana ni no obenya tax exemption e betumi aboa ma ono so establishing yi na sika na ka Ghana no ye ma tax exemption ni nti no ade no ye pia mo bi de ko ye fie so na ye basa ehihye be na wo ho e de masa ankorankoro yi a ebe boa ma so matumi ahi ha no ma expand said ya kwesi bruni ba obey no Ghana.
Tax exemption was 7. Obi onyi miye bia knows my views about tax exemption. My colleagues in parliament, those who knows me well, knows that I'm not a fan of tax exemption. And clearly, businesses, companies in Bawukrum because of tax exemption. Companies were because they know that they will make profit. And any good company want to pay tax. Now, the more you are taxing, the more you win opportunity. What you make a bank, the way to win any business. So, I have always said, and what you've said in public, everybody knows about it. This modern day, I think everybody has to pay something to contribute towards Ghana Nedanche. Some tax exemption or the mama ubiara onyebi, but it won't be arbitrary. So for example, if we decide the agriculture sector, our local, let's say palm plantation, or your buying policy, the warmer tax exemption, it doesn't matter who you are. Say you're Ghanaian, say you're foreigner, say you're Ghanaian, everybody must benefit. On fa ho baby if you are Ghana, on fa party adom, on fa sorako. As long as a human wa Ghana had, you should also benefit from it, so that it's not arbitrarily done, and we could breed the corruption. Now in phobia na hode ono na obahwe benete de either my crew or the bay 1D 1F for wenima na wada was aba parliament one wenima one for was aba parliament. That is not the way. My position at the time is that if you want to give incentives to business to do 1D 1F, put it in the law, let them everybody benefit from it. Go and do it. Don't go to a particular ministry or GRA for you to be granted tax exemption. Ama obandama obi wo ha obotum aye but onyim obiara wa benem onyim obiara panyin bia nanso ono onye bi obi wo ho no onyim obi nti ono obotum enye bi. That is what I don't like. Put it in the law. Allow whoever qualifies to also assess it pepepe the may not suffer. And that is what I was going. Sesha, in the last few months, there hasn't been tax exemptions. Yesterday, I submitted one to Parliament. It was something the previous administration did. I need to rectify it before we can implement it. We signed a contract, now I'm a contractor. No. It was Tata Holding, GRA, no, was signing it before, and the previous minister endorsed it. But did not go to Parliament then. But the contractor, now what the contract, and the start. But he cannot continue until the Parliament will ratify. So I have a responsibility as a Minister of Finance, and government is continuing to submit same to Parliament and get Parliament to approve. Same na me negotiate here, I may not negotiate tax exemption for that company. But it has been negotiated. It is something I inherited. I have to make sure it is done. And I'll do whatever it takes to make sure. As long as government of Ghana has signed it, or your government of Ghana need obligation, and that obligation must be met. So I sent it to Parliament, and I heard some few people asking me, I took pan or the tax exemption at Parliament here, knowing my views about tax exemptions. But I just want to state that it's not something I negotiated. In fact, rather what I did was, when I took off office, the contract that was negotiated was 53 million United States dollars. I've negotiated it down to 44 million United States dollars, saving approximately $10 million, including the tax exemption that has come down. So rather, we've given something back to the people of Ghana, and it's before Parliament. Hopefully, next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Parliament will get opportunity and debate on it. When it's approved, then the contractor can continue his job. But I have a responsibility to make sure I ratify that by body on the million.
Big push in about me big push in so there's somewhere Kenya this Ghana.
Of course, right.
Moi COVID tax in Efio. And horse na Kenya bi kakra. E dey ye dey say dey moi Efio. Scan no confess can we. Esan say yes say mo say mo nisika mo permission and so munye sika de di o man ho bo man ho bra sika no kofa we he enti sika de benya ho de esa de man nyina.
Okay, Agya, tax or a very complex something. so tax rate, or you're fair, I know you're reasonable, you get almost everybody to pay. But so old level be not so so kesi bebrea. Na the boy the nyimpa no kra na oye mo sincere. No botum wa we tua tax no kra do olotwen na na ase because anhwe ne ye ya ol tua tax na go ho kra no ho akokom and other nedwuma kra say. Unfortunately, in economics we have something we call the Laffer-Curve effect. So it get to a level bia boy there abanon baby tax no couldn't or compliance and overform. Unfortunately, that is where we are with our value-added tax system. Into Wama, sadly, our VAT system is failing, and so it's required that immediately. Now, reforms. Reforms na you move or your effective VAT rate from 21.9, call it 22% easily, and then you're removing to 20%. COVID levy if you cascade in if we've given 6% back. In doing that, what we have done there, you lessen the burden on the good taxpayer. At the same time, we have attracted nimpana and what's the tax no you too high into Yakrano to also come in. And we are also introducing fiscal electronic devices for VAT processes. So, from next year, Obia in UC or offend the VAT receipt in the bill.
Okay.
Yeah, the new system rubber. After the passage of the budget, I'll start the public education. The new system will be that you will have a POS, a fiscal electronic devices to be able to generate or VAT receipt. Now, when you receipt, there will be a serial number. Serial number, no, your board drawer, your cash, VAT cashback. Into Bosum Biarano, your board the best taxpayer. Into we receipt now, your cocotada or your VAT receipt. You can win a house, you can win a car, you can win a motor, you can win TV, you can win something, you can win cash. You can get 1 million, you can get 2 million, you can get 10 million, depending on what you have won. Every month it will be drawn. So that will encourage people, one, to demand their receipt, and two, not only to demand their receipt, but also our name, my baby, my Jimmy receipt, and make Queen or changing pana also ejevat and other also to my ban. So to encourage everybody and it will bring the compliance back. With all of these measures we are putting in place, it will help my tax no wa kosoro obokoso to the level onye the tax and the bibia no edzibi bototodo na sebe rate no wa kosoro nkote. I think immediately after the budget in January we come out with public education, intensive public education. You check the VAT no wa perform, you introduce a PUS, you introduce a cashback, now obi general receipt na ama abanoso sikaka krobutume. And I believe that this system will work, and if it does work, we can even go further. In the nearest future, you're reducing from maybe 20 to 19 or from something. But first, your first bit, your family. Why can the Ghana fossil? The Ghana fossil why your family there? On no ban encourage a ban, my banners with my then. Babu food. What's on no something?
Yeah, share back could be a most inflation above from $1 no a swatsi. And mana aye and Professor Mufili. Me who say woko atin takrade woko market bi aboso kan for da be na be ko nche na mo so
pache
o mo hu say esan say no musu ba ko pan say dollar kosoro ye no mudi ko mo fia de nko de bia ya na mo ka say dollar koso nti na spare parts bo aye den ba almost a year ni dollar no wo from o mo share ye bo say metete ne ma so but still kwedu baby kwe se ko mo to so kra wo me ahu bia e se ba ni sa e ho no wo ye ne den.
Okay, in there we operate a free market economy. Ghana yenye price control as a bottom kwagina bi no de ton them. We normally use demand and supply and a competition to adjust prices. I think time dollar started no ho city no ho lay na dollar local foreman. Some fell to the or a 9-day wonder until they held back into one prices. Now that there's evidence that dollar no wakofum no wage na city no wage na nandun, I think people will adjust naturally. it takes a bit of time to build confidence. And na can nyimpa no so wo hedge kakra okofa ade no ba sade ma menhwe kakra o mentom dem price na mekwato do na sade na anyi ye a o da asem baba or your mindset, and I can understand them. It is for us also to continue the effort I have put in place to assure them that at least regime na waban one share no ojina ho into butumai them. I'm sure those listening to us damatuma catch on na ide amanumbu onya aba no koti no boman yanka sanso Ghana fo no so yaka ho bi nti aban beye na famede ba waso ye Ghana nya oda waso ye wa famede nti aban ye na famede na se aban ne de no ore ye no so ya be ka ho asema so wo so wo de no ya oda wo so ye nti tuma ka ho asema chiro, because when the currency was depreciating no ye na ye tena ye kada aban da ore ye no ye na ho chira aba na ore ma ho chiro ko nti na ye tutu nzama mu sade no so wa aba foma also atonada also kofa ade ne fi baby ba sebe imported and the you don't stick to your old price. You to bring it down, because once when you nimpa Ghana fu ye na ye ban amani nti ya ba na o ya me na wo onye sebe ho na sebe wato aba mo na na de war parliament nkotin and na de amampanyin na wato aba ma na we yi ne ministers nkotin. It's all of us, or a collective. Nti moko market ne de no kwarem. The market women themselves will confess that what it's Zamado. And you can call the market women. They were the one telling
tomatoes near money.
And I agree that some other places there's some more work to be done. I will continue my engagement. I can't force them, but I can continue investment and apply moral switching. And I maybe, where Ghana Fui, the way the stability has come to stay, they will bring the prices. One of them said to me some time ago, Amishia, a Krominians in Comose, Honorable Nokwani de, Yena ye jeju to me de, Sisia, Nzama, Ayafu. Number Inkani, a walk out do until Moma, Yanto, Kalkakana, and Sana. Until Bia, Ibn Water, Kalbat, Imbripimin, I think that. And clearly, inflation numbers are reflecting. Food and non-food inflation is coming down fast. We began the year with inflation at 23%. Today, we're at 8%. I believe we'll end the year around 6.5. That is where I am projecting, looking at where we are going. And if we're able to do 6.5, next year, I'm projecting inflation to be 8 plus or minus 2. So it means inflation can go as low as 6 next year. That is my focus. And I'll work and I'll make sure that we'll get there. I'll put policies in place to anchor the currency, and I'll make sure, working with the central bank, we'll build enough reserves to be able to defend the currency. And in all of this, fiscal discipline is the answer. The idea you be answer, you be na you to me protect our ban, my ban with 200 shapa power to that.
And as for say 150,000 more fibia. I didn't tell my
already. When was that? I think about a month ago, I granted me sign a offending. And we call demonstration. What we need from Nywanka said I will do it, but I need to first of all see ability to pay. It's not just like signing. It's signing to yaka. Into to me sign 13,000 nurses. Maminyoka say controller or process one currently. Or they you only few. No way you do maybe and sign a creative space for and sign the for account and number one. We sound so sign 13,000 for or education workers. Always a few once we process one American say or the process one no once the cana sabi no more so we do from January or the year one back penny na on ne clear them zamani na ne hu there at least when you mad ho and sana I start for
nti enye se bia oboapa yese munye bibisa sasa omo the message bibre by
if you want an akotu already budget 90 billion cedis na yedutua wages and salaries. 90 billion cedis. It's about 47% of total revenue. Yedutua wages and salaries. Now sabe say if a teaching ya teaching on if you know what oboko school so they to school then school down so is or there a man chalk and make sure the blackboard wall. So if a nurse or they see hospital and send the nurse or hospital no more why you do and I'm say if a university lecturer sebe odonya baby papa otumo kwachira nkrofo adze nti say dem nkrofo for when now or they make sure so that you have enough money to create room to build the schools, to build the hospitals, to accommodate them. Teacher in all krasa done in you odonya teacher accommodation that is decent or a responsibility of government. Sisi amunyo kase look at the state of Ghana's roads. Our roads are bad. Our roads are extremely bad. Chede yen kanokwaro. But yen kwani na say okrum ho. Hwe sisi fin kran look okruma. That no why wadwen. Me kom constituency na why am adwen. E currently kwani na say we need to improve on our road network. It's the same money. It's the same money. We need to give some relief to the private sector to be able to employ. Into say, hey, be a menkonko for nyimpa 20,000, I have to pay it from somewhere. Mean to mukobobosa. And so if I have to pay it somewhere, then I have to pay me the tax bugun krofuando. But why don't I rather remove some tax and allow them also to employ? So it's give and take, and I'm sure the kind of reliefs and the structure we are putting in place, things will change.
Okasa things will change. Necessary. What can be it? My idea. And I say,
na sisi wale mhu den zaman sesa.
Yes. Na akase ombe yama na aye gina pim ti yama yen. Obi se keteka asem an katri wan asem so be bi push e ka kwa from Accra to Kumasi.
Yes.
Na so train kwan de banka wan asem.
Ofi wan na walk through. Into me na dakoro. You see, I don't believe in spreading myself too thin. I have very limited resources. I want to make impact. And to make impact, I select some areas, strong areas, make impact there and move to another area. Me spread the mohotena. Sebe fitia kotakrade. Nese me sika motuma 2 kilometers wa ha. Na makoye 2 kilometers wa ha. Na makoye 2 kilometers wa. Rather face it, finish one and move to 2. Inti road na line ye nyimpa hin ye fa keteke okroma. Eja afo keteke okroma da.
Me from to the 96
edokwa hin
Kumasi to Dunkwa.
Okay. Enye wana kwai.
Okay.
So inti ehu oye keteke. First of all, me fix ya kwani ya wase. We are keteke another train. It's used in Ghana. The most profitable line is the Western line. It can pay for itself because of the potentials of not only cocoa that we can haul, but manganese, bauxite, and all of that we can haul. And even using the Western line, I have a passion for the Western line, connecting it to Oye or from the Takrade Harbour, and using the Takrade Harbour as the dedicated port for the Sahel, and doing a railway line all the way to Hamile and creating an inland port in Hamile for the Sahel countries. That is a plan. It will cost about $6-7 billion. Today we do not have $6-7 billion. Looking at the kind of economy we have today, so we will plan in the medium term. But first, let's allow our children to go to school. Let's give our people good health care. Let's get the roads done. And then we'll move to have this done and create an enabling environment for businesses to survive. Then we can move into that. That's our priority.
Yeah, but you come out, let me say, my baby for hey.
Maybe a question.
Be a question, you baby, sir. Now, say, Munina, you host. And no, I will be a kind of say,
or you're gonna for what you have taxed or no.
I honorable Von Din so Abakai, sir, honorable Von Din so Abakai, sir, honorable de Aquaba. I see, Ebo,
yeah,
honorable,
honorable. But the people said, Accra Kumasi Expressway in Virginia. Oh, yeah, private sector, no, by yana, or yeah, ban, no, by.
Okay, Mpocho, Accra Kumasi Expressway will be fully funded by the state on your private sector. Government of Ghana will fund it. The fund we will tow it. Na ya jeje tows needed to over a period of time. That is Adza Yarababeye. Accra Kumasi Expressway is more than a road. On your road keke, we are opening up the country and creating industrial hubs on the corridor. We are cutting the travel cost by about 40%, and then also reduce the distance by about 50%. We are not abandoning the existing road. The existing road will still be there. The contractors are still on site, but this will be an alternative. And in any other country where we have express roads or tolled, there's an alternative route. Says the current one will be there, like a normal road. Say, in pede use the current one, let's say pede use express road, Nekwa Bantama, you have to pay for it. So you'll be told, and so I ban the project, and we'll begin next year and we'll complete before 2028. We will allocate some for the expressway.
Kofi.
Some of them better man.
No, Minister.
Okay, we are.
Oh, no, you are Ghanaian first, aren't you?
Oh,
You're Ghanaian, you know.
Oh, yeah, sure there. And some will hold. But on a more serious note, I'll ask this question. Maybe in twofold. One, what's your best starting from Accra? Accra Henfa.
Okay.
Two.
About the expressway.
Expressway.
Oh, okay.
What's your best starting from Accra?
Okay.
In your video.
Okay.
Accra Henfa and the best starting.
Okay. I'll explain.
Number two, a back cost to say.
Okay.
Amount no, mobile triano and block are now in tranches.
Okay.
And then lastly, we share of anchor to in some I feel there were 4 other bypasses are here. And also we make allocations to finish those. We're not there. All bypasses in at 70%.
Okay.
Now no President Mahama call of Anko or person they share big push. I say we are not any big push. Come on, find share big push. And you more there. Go for the chassis. But no see about 70%. It's other now only some allocation kakra. Now we no 4 bypasses no. Now at least Ghana for use as you are working on the long-term expressway.
Correct.
So those are my questions.
Okay.
So one.
So let me answer. Okay. So first, the new alignment begins around Anya. Okay. And it takes you from Anya, that route. I have the details. I'll be able to share with you. It takes you from Anya, that route. It's on a greenfield. It's not on an existing road. So a new road, greenfield, straight, to take you to Anya all the way towards Esaman Kese, Adeso, Esaman Kese, all that route. Obuko Kupui, Kumasi Baby, or for Chapatre. So on a new route to Krabat, or start from Accra, or from Kumasi, or start from Chapatre, all that way. So it is not the same alignment. At the right time, the engineers will come and show you where it is going and which community it is affecting and how they will go by it and all. Number two, we have the engineer's estimate, but it is going to go to tender. And so, Mitana TV do, Nese Maka engineer's estimator, whoever is going to bid will have an idea how much the engineer's estimate is. They know they are and lower their cost and that kind of thing. And I will not be fair to I've given somebody heads up, or be a team and man heads up. I cannot mention it until after the tender, because what tender, even the estimate remains an estimate until they what tender the price and whatever out. So that's fine. Then I want to reiterate this point. We have made allocation to complete the bypasses on the existing corridor. We are not a government that will abandon that existing corridors. We have called the contractors. Ya sure when the one ko yeduma, we yeduma na wode ba abanbuti onka. In fact, when we yeduma, just last month I paid contractors, road contractors alone, 5 billion cedis. On the contractor now already offended this road, of Angkor Road. When I came to office, we owed the contractor 77 million United States dollars. I've paid him. Today we don't owe that contractor. He has to work and bring money and sell you to an account. But let me correct this. President Mahama Kede, there are some important roads to be a previous administration started, but there were no money left behind for those roads. In order to complete those roads, he will add them as part of his big push and makes allocation for it. It doesn't mean the worker there, why you contracting another work award and the big push. Let me also repeat today. At the Sawam Road in Abanda Downquay loan $750 million from a free exam. The money is finished, the road is not done.
No,
it's gone. That was the idea. Let me land. I sit with the numbers. The loan was taken. Parliament approved it. $750 million. But if President Kufuor not started, I know we are not running away from that fact that President Kufuor started that road. They took a loan for it. Nobody is running away from it. The loan was taking $750 million. And the intention, they will be using $750 million and no what I no what be so swami interchange. I was in Parliament. At the time, I was the ranking member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, even before I became the minority leader. I was there. I supported the passage. I had some reservations. I spoke against it. The loan itself, if you read around it, it's public. You read around it. I made my case strongly on that day, but in the end, I supported it because of the road. Now, they took the money. They used some of the money for the road. Others was used for other expenditures.
Why?
Legitimacy the government. It's government money is fungible, they say. So they used it. And the money, so contractor no beno, sikanasa, but abani ni sikadaho. We have to fund that road. You can't abandon that road. We have said that we are using oil revenue and mineral revenues for big push. Inti President Mahama said that he will not abandon those roads, but rather he will capture it as part of the big push and use part of the oil revenue to fund those roads. Inti the President Mahama wakade odaka big push one. Onzi na adwene bon. Ope roads ni ye inti no se further coming priority project and let us fix it. I've paid $77 million. Today, if the contractor does work and brings his IPCs, I will gladly pay. And I've said publicly that all big push projects, you bring your invoice today, you have up to 30 days. I'll look for money and I'll pay you so that we can complete these roads for our road network to be good. So I want to assure you there, and yet the President Mahama all legit, but he wants to complete it for you and for me and for the benefit of the people of Ghana. That's all. It's not to take the money and disturb it. No. But the 750 was taken.
Okay. Yes. Prof.
There were two suggestions and there were 3 questions in one. Yedikano say obi jisika say or the beye adie na wanya say sabani probu.
Of course.
Microphone mu gi sika no man tumi afa no maye no enche wo mu
pocheo
na emwa Ghana for.
Thank you.
Etosu mienu kumase kwan no ene kwan bi ebeye no mo maye nse side kwan dada no.
Oh no, never.
Maye ma eno nya alternative route exactly. Ne beye a eno so microphone betimi.
Thank you very much.
The question ye di kan Women Development Bank 410 million.
Pocheo.
Da ben here.
Okay, I think it's 401.
401. Okay.
The 1 million cedis is there for the setup of the bank. Okay. So I've given 1 million cedis for the setup of the bank.
Not 400 million.
400 as capital for the bank. So that the phone will use. Into the million 401. So the one will be not more than one will be used for the setup. Okay, so now allocated. I expect Parliament to give me the power to spend before the year end, maybe 23rd, 24th of December. Okay. So from January, I can allocate that resources to the Women's Development Bank, and the bank will officially be commissioned by His Excellency the Vice President. When that is done, then Her Excellency the Vice President, when that is done, then we will now begin the operationalization of the Women's Development Bank. But since America say Parliament approve you 400 million. Then the way Obi say Kwani when
the ways your front. The second question, the MP before raised the issue about budget here be revenue no expenditure.
Yes.
Okay, kaya bona edoso. NDC funds be two kabebre I wo ho. Point ben ye be fast way be increase your revenue stream no. Netimia offset ka ayedi.
Uncle, this is an excellent question. Let me put it this way. Revenue is everything, and it's the lifeblood of a country. And if you don't get the money, you can't spend. And if you're forced to spend, you will borrow. And if you borrow, you have to pay. And unfortunately, if the revenue doesn't come again, you can't pay, and eventually you give people a haircut. That is where we got to. That's where we got to. But the Amepedama Kanye government abano today or the nzama about 2 years na ya bomboden na ya raise sika no you be raising from various sources. Prof no kwani de yen VAT structure or collapse will revive it, and I've begun the revision. The reform is deep and it will work, and I know it will bring results. Immediately after, I also announced in Parliament that I'm going to reform the income tax, and I'm also going to reform the customs and excise tax. Well, after those reforms, I'm sure it will take a while, but currently the VAT, I have a hope that by next year it will work. In fact, I also have a hope that we can revive oil customs, because the leakage at the port, only God knows, is just too much.
Yes.
We need to find a better way to rake that in. But you see, we are in an era, technology adorso, misinvoicing and misclassification. But you can use blockchain or technology to do that, and that's what we are going to implement now. There's something that I saw, and I mentioned it in the budget speech. I'm surprised that it has not gained that much traction. Let me use this opportunity to say this. This country has been raped, and often you blame the politicians alone unnecessary. But also we are all part of it. Ghanaians are part of the problem. Foreigners are also part of it. In fact, people living in Ghana, let me put this, are part of it. Do you know something? Between 2020 April to March 2025, you share when I will process or your invoices using the ICOMs.
Yeah.
We call something IDF. IDF ni ya za say look akwa transfer sika if Ghana akwa. That is what you use to process. Na ekwa transfer ada ekwa to your school fees on ka ho. Say look akwa ye wa shopping bibi kitu bi on ka ho. But when now where you import what transfer sika kese what the bakroma what the call no what nzama ba no. Do you know what we saw? Between that 5 years, $81 billion has been equivalent, because some are in pounds, some are in yen, but the equivalent is about $81 billion. In the name of import, of Ghana. Do you know something? $31 billion of that amount, no import came in at all.
Really?
Nothing came in. It's in the budget statement. I'm surprised that, and I read it also in Parliament.
You should have mentioned it.
31
billion, nothing came in at all.
That could have built that.
And these are importers.
Wow.
31. You see, it's not even the revenue bit. It is the foreign currency. No wonder the currency was depreciating that much. So you say that you are transferring money. It's more or less money laundering, taking money out of Ghana without paying the required taxes.
And why are people still there?
Why people are there? But you see, so we've done the work. We've now seen it. We've handed over to investigative agencies, and now we'll go for the tax. Then we have another group. They import about 91 billion cedis equivalent of goods. But what about one misclassifying? Now we're reporting about 50-something billion cedis. So revenue loss, the previous administration lost about 11 billion cedis worth of revenue.
Wow.
That they could have easily go for. But because of misclassification and all of that,
but
they
this is intentional misclassification.
It's intentional.
Yes.
Stealing from the state. And so I keep saying that sometimes we always say that, the politicians will accuse each other and all, but it goes beyond the politics. it's also you, the Ghanaian citizen. All of us here have a role to play to make this country a better place. You, the importer, you, the citizen of this country, you have a role to play. Eja, waso kan ho bi. Waso ode you contribute with it. Nti ba ha nye Ghana fon kasa. Na me na wi na ye Ghana ye. So Ghana be ye ya, onye man kote ne mutuma ye. The leaders will lead. You better assume Dema, you're president today. He's the leader of the country. He will lead. I'll be made a minister of finance. I'll bring policies and I will lead. But I can't do it alone without your support. Yes. And so, many opportunity. I always talk to the people of Ghana that pay your taxes and hold me accountable. Hold me accountable and let me justify how I've used your taxes. If you think I've not used it well, you have every right to say whatever to me. But you need to contribute, particularly when you have to do it.
Honorable, someone can 2020 to 2025 year 81 billion and says Kabe a banks na any more a year can.
Yes, the banks are involved. In fact, I did not miss my words. The banks are involved, and I've written to the central bank. They want regulatory actions in attack banks, and I want answers from the Bank of Ghana. If any bank has flouted any rule, may I expect it or the what you as well. Punishment or the more. But this cannot continue as a country. Because look, the same people will turn around, currency will collapse and come and insult everybody as if we don't know what we are doing.
And so the last question, I want to congratulate you on this policy of tax exemptions and near tax winnings. It's a very brilliant idea. Say, obi to tax at the end of the month, you're too low trees. Now you're shuffle, obi benya car, obi benya sika, obi a very good thing. A bit why the private sector and probably be to your taxes because truth be told, obi and pursue to your tax. But when you say the Bayer Quine, the Bayer school, the Bayer hospitals, now what benefit here, or to and anything. My last question, about the 90 billion now upon one seminal. About nipa 1 million and a year Benjuma, based on your own projections, you were about 10 million as a year workforce on year Juma, but private sector and we need to build on the public system. They say we cast 47% of your total revenue to your salaries and emoluments. See, the sika you need to your career, you better your sika for capital investment. And there are your bridges in the roads in the
Okay, so the ECOWAS benchmark. Convenience criteria, I think it's supposed to be about 33%. World average 33%, because they assume that with salary, you have 3 lines. You have CAPEX, you have goods and service, and you have what do you call it, compensation. But Ghana's level of 47 is high.
Very.
Considering Nimpana Yefan, Yandodono, in amount of UTN is high. In the coming days, I will be doing a lot more payroll work to find out whether we are paying legitimate. The people that are supposed to receive, or there are some ghosts there.
Oh, in
some so we need to find a way as a challenge. You see, the structure of the way yen structure yen economy they will always come. But you have to find a way to always exercise them. For example, me teaching you me charge wo edwuma akọ me constituency. E bia enda me edwuma. Wachina sebe menyi ho. Nature or from who reports to controller tomorrow. So that tomorrow at the end of the month my salary stops.
The head teacher is there.
And the head teacher, the process na be obefem mpo wa reporting mpo no. Maybe by the time the controller Robertson maybe there 6 months, maybe 1 year. Ghost in between. Ibi edwumande ochena we jai, we to kwan, and then we need for. Nobody reports, so it has to do with the
somebody should be responsible to report.
Somebody somewhere must do it. The moment you be sleep on the job, it costs the state.
But don't you
and that's why I believe in fiscal decentralization.
Because you can also urge.
But you see, yes, nimpa na oje bi o a na coalition abem also Agya Kwabena mo konti ma menje kakra na yenche. You understand? And aban on bleed.
Yes.
Na aban so bleed. Also mpa da aban be bleed. So what do? Send a private company Peace FM ha.
Easy.
Nimpa no oje o chana pa hu a. When Jani Sarai. But because the government is so big and we process everything in Accra. Is part of the reason. That is why I'm a big fan of fiscal decentralization. I think we need to decentralize the payroll to the district or regional levels. Okay. So at district level, next district education director, no do to staff, Sanye Juma, on able holding responsible or on a budgeter. On your kefra, because now we do everything in Accra. So you pan wale or do Accra, you pan Yendia or do Accra. If you post everywhere,
national service posting, common posting,
if you do everything in Accra, you get the problems that you are having. You will get it. In see structure no kakra no do sasa. So once a son, eja ye be ye afebite. But them in some I know.
Even if you as a child, even if you the only clarification is the minister knows that the 750 million Afri-Exim money was not all meant for the Ofanko.
So it was for what?
Part of it, $200 million, was for Okra. Okan say some of it was for the Kumasi Swami interchange, which was halted at some point. Until the SOE and say, "Oh my, the 750 million, what payments they were used for?" But you know that when it came to Parliament, the 750 million were not all for
no. Kofi, you are not. You are not.
750 Kumasi Swami.
Other roads. So not other things. Yes. Not other things, but other roads.
That's fine. But they are all for
Kofi.
That.
Let me make this point clear and now. 750 million were supposed to be used for largely Ofanko, one. And two, it was a Swami interchange wasn't part. It was Honorable Osei Chemin Sabunsu. The Venerable OKMB. That's how I call him. He the then MP for Swami at the time, was insisting that his interchange must be done and he needed financing. He used the word at the time, dedicated financing for that into one fund count. I was the chairman of the ranking member of the finance committee at the period. I don't forget. Then we even amended. In fact, one of the road we saw Kahubio was the another road in what do you call it? Betty's constituency, Afram Prince North was part of it. That didn't happen. That road, it was three. That didn't happen. Nothing of the sort was done. Then so the chunk of the money was supposed to be used for this road. In fact, the money is finished as we speak. For Sikanara, what's another? What's saying? Kofi, I scan what's saying. Watch. Where the me buy this camera? What's another? See, the me pay me kind. You pay na Jinasan 77 million or your government obligation. Or you abandon no responsibility to the Abantua. As Minister of Finance, I have a responsibility to pay. Now the president has come out with a policy that all oil revenue will be used for infrastructure development under the big push. He has come out with a policy. In the past, we were using oil revenue for goods and service. Would be to talk to Nyama. I said no. He won't spread himself thin. So he will use oil revenue and minerals revenue. The mineral revenue is been under what MIF, Mineral Income and Investment Fund. What do you maybe what be That's it. President Mahama took a decision that MIF or your mineral royalties, no the Misikano, Boboban, not the infrastructure. Now we take a decision, we have a Fanko hanging. There's no dedicated source of funding for it. He needs to fund it. Also, look, Ato, for become a big push project no na funded from oil revenue.
That's a good thing.
He's not done anything bad. For you to say, no, only the memo and general for find kind of big push. The man thinks well. He cares about the country. That is why he's saying that I will not abandon that project, but I've created this as big push. But there are some key projects I want this to be part of it, and make sure you pay. The first payment I paid since I became a minister was that road, 77 million United States dollars, almost $1 billion Ghana cedis at the time for that road. Today, if a road node, you can see that it's improving. It is our hope that next year, latest by the end of the first quarter, that road must complete. In fact, out the Mamon Kwechiri Kakra by June next year, we should completely finish that road. Then at least, at the minimum, taxpayer needs to council for work for the Republic of Ghana. That is what we are trying to say. We are not saying that but it was started by President Akufo-Addo. We acknowledge that, but President Mahama will finish it in the interest of Ghana and you. Okay.
Minister,
I think the area at Zibia fell. Now, all Ghana for you. In Yama can budget if you are like pair. Now, radio stations, and now TV stations, and one Kasarika. I think the year will be done in the past. Into oil fell. I didn't so often not one cast when no prayer. Crawford has a senior. So it was a good job, and I think you should keep it up.
Thank you.
I thank you very much for your dedication. Now the humility. No, Brazil, maybe you have a bigger challenge ahead of you, and may God bless you.
Thank you.
I thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank
IPPs want to call ECG. IPPs want to call but we consider a possibility of debt equity swap.
Okay.
Have you considered that?
Here they do one cow. Abandon do one cow. And see, say the henna. I wonder what the young cable to me. The young cow equity. So it won't work because henna yet the one cow.
Can they have equity in the ECG, for example?
Them having equity in ECG,
maybe as a private entity.
Maybe some percentage. Or more property. I won't be evaluated for that equity.
Okay. So ECG, we've announced private sector participation.
Okay.
Yeah. And you recall that previous administration did it, tried to do it, and PDS issues and Adeniya Basa. What we are trying to say is that in order to avoid that PDS issue, we need to go through tendering processes or SEFATA. So we are working with Oya World Bank. Offended qualification. They have a technical word for it to select the transaction advisor. Okay. And see, we've done that. Very soon it will go through tender, and we'll get companies what's a fata to manage the affairs of ECG, particularly the revenue collection bit, because truth the quadro cripple. So I'm fixing ECG issues. Next year my ECG can the sika wabegin will use the way they want and procure things like we saw. At that one here, no, I to go for the next 10 years because somebody just want to make money on the back of procurement. Or no, it doesn't matter. Do so, because what will happen is that Sikana Wajen, they can't pay the IPPs. And if you don't pay the IPPs, they can't pay their service, and it will go down, and they'll be doing so. So that is the part we need to go. And so we are not just bringing in gas to power. We are not building 1,200 megawatts in vacuum. We are not getting ENI and Cosmos and the rest to bring us 150 million standard cubic feet of gas per day in vacuum. But we are fixing ECG. Because if you don't fix ECG, all this investment I'm talking about will go waste. That needs to be fixed. And so we'll fix that.
What can be about ECG?
Yes, we inherited, you see, ECG revenues are about cash waterfall mechanism. Before we took office, it was about 900 million Ghana cedis per month. Today, them cash waterfall now is the same ECG. What as their revenue has gone to 1.7 billion. As a result of that,
efficiency,
you to use Sikano to be able to pay the IPPs. Into IPPs, once the I'm a Maji as Ministry of Finance. Na my renegotiate. Na may save it it was 1.5 billion. Na may save it $252 million. You save it $252 million and ya bombardina the remaining amount. Miss me to for that crop payment to ya. At 1.3 billion or so 1.2 no. I can't pay in 1 year. So I agree payment terms. Over 4 years. Year one, or they 301. I've paid the 300 million. Next year, I have to pay 344.9 million. Let's say 345 million. I have budgeted the same amount in the budget for next year. 2027, I have to pay another 250. By 2028, I would have paid all the IPP once again now. But I want to commend the IPPs. To be honest, when I called them for a meeting, they agreed, and we've been able to restructure their one debt. Now we what one hand discount kakranka be am 15%, be am 20%. Yaka boom no. We saved $252 million. Nyana nkoten ibinum so we reduce one rate for example, one of the IPPs when we produce solar no, we've moved their rate from 18 to 6 cent per megawatt hour. That's significant shift. And then some of them too have the like Sun Power and Co. They've all given some discount per day. So we are overhauling the energy sector.
That
if you don't, you can't power
that is good governance, negotiating for the people.
If you don't, you can't power the economy.
What say no? Fisabre kono nkwada dua ne ombedi school from primary to senior high was there yinina yentono yen credit bia farmer.
So Agya, say awe nya uska na say pede koto Thailand perfume rice can I stop you?
Dabi,
I can't stop you. But abano so woni sika na say abano so spend ni sika abano so obe spending the way on so pay anamoboa. That's government. So government is saying that our pede do perfume rice so cough cry die free baby bar fraba. But as long as we are spending our money, Ghana fona woludua mo wahan will buy our rice. Ghana fona where your chicken will buy their whole chicken. Ghana funa where we produce eggs and will buy their eggs. Ghana funa nyamia domala where maize will buy it, tomato and all. Inti the amount of money, for example, free SHS, we have budgeted 4.2 billion cedis for free secondary education. Of this amount, feeding by about 2.9, almost 3 billion. Feeding. That is the purchasing power of government. I will not buy imported goods. And President Mahama has directed that we should use this to buy from Ghanaian farmers. It is done everywhere. Inti Daya Kanyede, those responsible and have accordingly directed them. Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Trust Fund, School Feeding Secretariat, and then you have the Free Secondary Education Secretariat. They must comply and make sure that whoever they are buying this food from are locally produced, so that Abanoso will turn that support or your Ghanaian farmers. You know, there's some food glut. Yeah, it will be a disincentive to the Ghanaian farmer not to produce food.
Yeah.
And so, say it with the ban, na it produce na say one time you won't produce again. And I also want to say that and use this podium to say that if you are buying from a Ghanaian farmer, and even if the price is a little bit high, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In some countries, they give subsidies to their farmers to produce and ship to us. Yes. That can be our subsidy to the Ghanaian farmer to be able to produce and create jobs. And so that's what we are doing. Go to the chicken here you will have a baby. They are all subsidized by someone. Yeah. So their countries are producing it under subsidy and sending it to us. and exporting jobs into their country. I think we can continue that way. And so it's a government policy, it's going to be implemented, and it's going to start soon.
I like
and
it.
And Mr. Nanka, me person be console. Yeah, but that's the papa and the woman. You say, Brene Brano.
Asam na yaka ni nyine minister kwa yampom na.
Minister kwa yampom. Nyama bi wo ha.
No man me nja na ye wedua. Sophie will check as well. Sophie will check as well.
Yeah, didn't come up now. Go for questions in the baby.
Another time.
Now, yet you made in community. Yeah, but that's Papa.
God bless you.
I'm sorry, TV any non-anton honorable at force no finance minister, they didn't come with. Now, Yama Hudwa. Or man na hyehyɛ deɛ ɔyɛ nyina na ne no atumi aka wɔ sɛ mbere pamu yɛbɛtoa so a na yɛne no adi nkɔmmɔ sɛdeɛ ɛsi ɛteɛ ne nsɛm no waka no bebree nanso yɛbɛbɛ fie na yɛasɛ medi nkɔmmɔ kakra nsa ne yɛbɛsɔre a yɛasɔre so ne akɔsi asasɛm baako ɛsɛ ɛtumi de nkɔmmɔ yɛ chief justice a sɛsie yɛato aba adi no a I'm so actually I know atum no.
But I have to give him the respect to allow him to
ma de do na ye ke ho asam o sande se hwe mfonyina okrodo elwak nipo dodo a wobogu a ho nyina opede woko soja o twom mfonyina bi kira hen the yen system I use over the years and we feel there's a problem of systemic failure. Ija say oman today oman Ghana ije paza yawo mpunto a nchobutu aba Ghana na menyoka say mbabun dodo damu kugu hode wo ko hwe soja e basho nye soja nkasa na wo pe o edwuma na wo hwe waye oya roho da ye betina wo Mark Ghana is 68 years. Two parties, NDC and MPP, which almost 33 years. Almost half of year Ghana is, two parties, and to send the youth have become so frustrated, so disappointed, so hopeless. Also an upon whom obey Oboko University will be here 5 years, 4 years, 6 years, no year, it's as a result of system we feel. And I believe there. Mosi oya roh wankasa na mom yan fa de so bi mfim na yan ma omba ye turning point or a learning curve for us as a nation there ebe na aze na ebutum ya ye ma dam situation ni nye iwu asem go to na America a situation na nyimpa ba ye 60,000 okwa hwe adwuma de adwuma na obofo no only 4,000 dam situation how do we solve it and somehow also they be saying these are the questions because if the system works including even the education system I mean go to universities and see the courses they are doing. Two of the courses your university is so young for them courses is say young share in the education system ni na ya member farman one kasa wonsua bibi so we school and you know about your application akọ ahwe adwuma about prepare ni CV na mom o we school na no nyim zo ye why creative what to all bibi kitikiti bisa akọ China hu mama ka asem na so akọ China na se koto fruit and fruit drinker container na ka sete there lotto kiosk no bitim ekwa wa hihye ne fruit no ho odin share small machine bi odin share jujuju we seal wa package ozeya afom ho ozamo na edwuma oyenyin
there's a picking crying
na edwuma oyenyin and ebe calling people was online because when education system no almost you pay ala you marry here but the ends no was final year na wa share say prepare ni CV because onyum dey o said dey okwa hwehwe edwuma o baby here. Now, unfortunately for us as a nation, no, abani nya hoze na obutu wa von krofo bebre we adwuma mu because sikani nyi wadam na space mpo nyi wadam na private sector da no so obutu wa von krofo bebre ne so no yan kasa so yentu be create environment no mo wontu mu nje won andue won bebe won ndwuma mu won bebe ndwuma afoforo a obutu wa von family nti ye kroya na ye bay. So now the question is even as in a beye madam situation only see bio. That is what is important to since we see you ebusafu bosu enyina ibiza ho. After that what next? Even a corner yaba fado and minister be wakabi a corner ba fado a yaba ma yebo benjuma monkofu enjuma waye. We need to do more. I believe that we need to support the private sector more. Time bia maka there's actually the kind of competition in the world that if you're a Ghanaian producer, you can't compete. Because if you are whatever you are producing in Ghana, you are competing against people from all over the world, producers like you. So in soon as a producer, that means there are people producing in Suwa outside Ghana, Ivory Coast, Benin, China, everywhere. And if the cost of producing water is so much higher, and people cannot buy it, they will fall on the external product, which is cheaper because of the fact that one way, too many way create environmental on a private sector and more thrive. That is the problem we have in this country. That's why cost of doing business and cost of production are so high in this country. So the issue is systemic failure. 2, economic mismanagement. Yan impanyinfo a yezi tumi hye wonsa. Ekwana bofado atotan Jamaica cha to be fit Jamaica cha to that to iwi amengwa nkesha abochiro iwi atina ha na bunkunta ma ye da kono wegu na nkesha abochiro no you see mama kan be me free pa Jamaica cha me free if for bet say no kan cha to that the master ko be sen
Akwabena wegu na nkesha
akeno frata wegu na nkesha abochiro so mba you see what's also Mbagana Mbagana is that muso me say Ghana for so long as that man remains outside, you know, MPP must remain in opposition. The only thing we'll consider them is that when it comes to Ghana, no answer question no far. Then we'll vote for MPP maybe in future to come. But so long as he stays outside, we will link his stay there with MPP staying in opposition. That is what we need to do as a nation, so that people will be serious in this country. When we give you job to do, you must be accountable to the people of Ghana. Because then taxes in shadow, and you want to propose Japan in shadow. It's a kind of economic mismanagement. It's also one of the reasons why. There is a Ambani Sky Shawonsa, for example. $97 million. The miscan has good to Amunan. The miscan until you have bit more family permanent jobs to do. We need to know our priorities. Janko Pontina a bricks more, now a mortar more. So a Christian partner Janko Asabasa. The moon there, it was wasteful expenditure, it was needless, it was senseless expenditure. For Kahuma, oh baby, but can you imagine? No, you know, $97 million. Oh, young Kabo,
almost $100 million.
Do you know what that money can do in terms of job creation?
It also mismanagement
and corruption. So economic mismanagement is one of them. Corruption. Now, Sikana to see what come into. Sika, that man, young men and women are. They won't do baby. What's a con be do what for fay on your what it here. Oh, Nina count the men's and many in a bomb. No one man that in Babu schooler. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and Ghana your money and put in strain. How can you be 33 million people? And God has blessed you so much that you are the second largest producer of cocoa in the world. You are the 5th largest producer of manganese in the world. You are the 6th largest producer of gold in the world. You are the 11th largest producer of bauxite in the world. I'm not talking about Africa. We have 195 countries in the world. I mean, now in Ghana is so rich, yet so poor. The paradox of Ghana's situation. Because people who lead, most of them are greedy, corrupt people. If we can cut down corruption even by 50%, this country will be a better place. And what is even worse, what is even more painful in there? So what for the miscana, they don't even invest because of fear. They will be caught. No, this kind of we can invest this kind of outside, creating jobs outside. What kind of system is this? So Eja, you to know, yes, someone. I think when it comes to the issue of how to do it next time, go fight on arguing. Even with this decentralization, they should further cut, reduce things there. Send there about 50 people or about 5,000 people or China about 5,000. We should have no more of this. On for problems in Myanmar. But I'm saying the system has failed the youth in this country, and we need to change it because you see, issue of unemployment is national security issue.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when people see. Say you pay or swanapa. Eja, what is painful is a common zoda in you moti. The swanapa, name is area. You don't know anywhere to go. You don't know anyone to ask for money, but you need to survive. So
democracy fear the show.
Yes.
So fear now
Eja one fair Eja one fair try. Obofa galamsey site. One for galamsey site. Na adwumbo na abanitirim. It is not even good for politicians in this country. That we should that we continue to have this kind of unemployment rate in this country. This kind of situation, it was an eyesore. It should never happen again in this country.
All right.
That we you share Juma or cry
maybe. Also, do you know what the minister came to the station with that military or police bodyguard as an acting defense minister and also minister of finance?
Yes.
This is humility. Obano, finance minister Bano, be an enemy. No, boko, no, or buy. Bushapeni, and this message by Bushapeni Moon Comedasi. Honorable one day. Aha, they see a war, working a year can want some cacranti, which you do a drink rabat, Nafi, Yakonsa before so tell.
I'm sure when you never heard your foot to sound for your son, Henny. Dr. Atu forcing us na ho brasia odi ye na dwuma no eso ani ye tra o man ma che kakra o anya kra me bru 40 years enti ye hunu finance ministers da oni panic kenkan wi a na mrahye badwam ho kra ne so oba aposifo ne sojafo edi ekire ni dedi e ba mrahye badwam ho no asosin se president Akufo-Addo ankasa kra no e ko ba bi na who de facto presidents di echire ni ade a na nya agoro ye begu a ye bobo economic management for team for dia ji bebe 1 hour ansa na be shasi akan nyame asem my lord will provide your need according to his riches ye wie ye no na mnuoma tie ya share white Piccadilly bam robbers nkwatwom na go amehwe abrante fefe fam brasie ni working car budget on in local radio stations, television stations, so chire mo e kan se ma chire mo oni passe no sabio Kwabena anya ofe ya kokan ze me nka me so de asam na mama me nka because mama me kan maka no kura ewom and mama me nka kura because mama me kan maka no kura ewom ato force nya me shira why na said your madin kan aka no bia na nya me wo adwuma kase bi da nanim enti na wama na shase ahobrasi ne ni die so yi bia na awurade bo adwuma kase da nanim ti yenyina fa mpa bo enta na chi
when you emphasize the adwuma kase dey
well because the aye idea
if they say tell us
oh in the aye idea ai na the aye idea na branch idea aye idea ai me na me nti da se dollar ni cd ahon den to make us roda na no bia me hu bi ye ni titi zero free so President Akufo-Addo so oko titi zero free so here that the value is the same
denomination
and then no credit rodo say dollar to me free 18 Ghana the better 10 cedi eyi ya me sora no permit me di me say family me say bia da na me su ana anyo bia na ayo his excellency Mahama we hunu ya mobo eyi abrante fefefe ɔte wo nkyɛn ɔbɛtena wo nkyɛn sɛ deɛ wo ne ne nyinaa na Kwabena ne we yɛ nyina yɛhwɛ ana ekuro bi yɛfrɛ no yɛhwɛ mame ekuro bi papa bi frɛ no fori ata benu ya mame fa kwanya yesu na me ma woni a ahwe wo mo ma ya wo Awak Stadium na anu ya me mo ya akọ na de ya ne se ya akọ no ma ne bebre kura no a entimi mfa wo nipa na wa hwere no emma bi o na so be den kan na wo beka akwantu a woko utu a ntumi ma wechi bi o anka ye ma me mu ya akọfo mo abadadaada ye ma mo ya akọ na wo mo kọ ye den ye kọ pa ya no aduane ene de abai aba aye wo mo mfo so da bi nye wo mo mfo so na wo ho you run the country any propaganda and pro the past 8 years ya share boss ye create one district one factory ye mabunu factory bia amfa kra be fa nipa be 3000 na wo district ahini Ghana ha na se one district one factory no e kan wo asem na ni nyina ba ko kra fa nipa 1000 san kan mabuni obi ankogu ho bebresi ya pedwuma se yi o Agya Kwabena kane no so pe obi akodwani military kra no a wonya ya na edin and then no it has become the very attractive enterprise mabuna enti se ye die America se ye ko soldier na enkrofo kase ade no ya nye ni ye ni ade look it has been the tradition all this while na feel say better so as say ye jai to de bia those days no look queue ni bi kura temi kwa koduru osu na ye be ye screening ti queue no be ye tin na stadium na nka senso ye matototo adan hwe yankola ye ni na moyi emu ayen okay na se emfa ne se wa database forms na wo tonton ye no bia nipa be 100,000 at all form ni bi e course system no mu no nipa bia 40,000 timi anko true into omo the initial stage na wo mafrim disqualified aka nipa be 60 enti one kasa hwe say officers dodo saying na e ko hwe nkolai screening a wo mo be ye so officers ni 100 anya kra a day nipa dodo saying wo betimi ahwe won akosra 500 a day enti sa 500 no ma wo mo message say eda way mumra Agya Stadium embe ye mo screening omo ba no omo ye wie a wo mo ko no ma message foforo na da foforo obi foforo nso aba ye ne saa no a ebe ma kwan po ma wetimi anya quality a wo hwere o de ase nipa no wo benya ho bre atoto na no aba quality a wo hwere no won saka na nkwale ya begu wotwo se ya sabio ye nyina purpose ba ko na ade ye nim se nipa dodo a be fani na nipa dodo a ato forms a ye ya be ye den na wa akro betimi anya adaje a screen wo mu yie anya quality a wo pe wo mu betimi akọ military ni bi intimidate me gidi se ayade a ase nyina esua ade wo mu na ochene bi ama ne sa bio na nye sa na esese yakọ no I feel say nanu ye Endra and Miami Brapeni Muntaka Mubarak Minister for Interior, right? And also Edbetu just say ye screening for police, fire service, say immigration, any prisons. Mesre. Na me gidi say on one kasa crowd dia tuja dada. Dia bay amaye suehunu. Say yensi san kola no enkogu faako ye wo stadium bebre ye wo Agya Stadium ye adesi ye wo ho sports stadium Accra ye wo ho Lagos Stadium wo ho Botema wo ho teacher nkola no go wo bebre hwe ayi friend is saying Independence Square ye wo ho uba forecourt of parliament space kakraka wo ho betimi ye screen wo ho nyina tu behwe no wa teacher nkola no mu kakra enu kra no ubetimi anya brand wo mo akasa ne wehu nipa no ni qualities o wa betimi akonanim Cape Coast na omo ye screening na abufra ba akokọ ye no mbisa ne se profession bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọ̀dí bá wà sí mi the car wash ọ̀hún car. Ẹ̀mí sọ ọ̀sẹ̀ dẹ̀ ọ̀sẹ̀ car wash ó wà ọ̀hún certificate ọ̀sẹ̀ sẹ̀ car wash dey ní certificate ní ẹ̀ ọ̀hún pass ọ̀nà ọ̀nkọ̀ I mean such characters are in there wọ́n yìí àmbẹ̀rẹ̀ à wọ́n ní nkọ̀lá ní bẹ́ kẹsẹ̀ yíye ní wọ́n ti mi nya wọ́n mu ẹ̀wọ́ pẹ̀pà nkasa ọ̀hún bebree wọ́n wọ́n anyẹ sójà no kọ́ ní wọ́n pẹ́ sọ wọ́n kọ́ wò edwuma na eni hɔ ntra ɛna ɔno nso pɛ baabi di ne ti akɔhyɛ na ɔyɛ nkɔla ne bi adada bi fresh bi wɔ de se yɛfa nkɔ sojo seriously dada bi fresh bi a wɔn wɔ
training ni kura
wo bɛ dwani abɛfie maame ka kyerɛ wɔn mo ɛna afei wɔn ni a sɛbio I'm a member of parliament nti minim de America wɔn ni a kan ne kan wɔn adwene ne sɛ agye sɛ wotue sika ansa na wanya soja no mu kwan akɔ no mepɛ sɛ mo yi mo adwene fi saa adeɛ no so ɛnyɛ yɛ aban mu o His Excellency Mahama aban wei yɛntue sika na wanya soja mu kwan akɔ look nkurɔfoɔ ba me nkyɛn honorable yɛsrɛ wo deɛ mɛtua mesi look one cedi koraa mengye wo menni wo kwan menni saa power mpo sɛ mɛtumi aboa mo anya soja mu kwan menya soja pani nti deɛ ɔbɛyɛ ne set of forms no kɔ screen no process no nyame adom na wonsa kan na me a me wɔ ha sɛ mmarahyɛ badwani mpo no menni wo kwan sɛ metumi promise wo sɛ mɛma wanya soja akɔ na kama wodi sika piampia megye wo sika ɔkyerɛ wode baakɔ yɛ campaign akyia me sɛ fɔnde a bɛgye me sika wɔabramea nso menim sɛ megye wo sika koraa mentumi nya bi mma wo mɛserɛ mo adeɛ no ɛyɛ on merit sɛ wokɔ na sɛ woyɛ adeɛ a yɛbɛfa wo woanya adeɛ nso a na wabɛtena fie na wapɛ ade foforɔ na adeɛ no yɛnya wɔn adwene mu da hɔ a na wɔn kɔ a ɛbɛboa yɛn why na me mabusuafoɔ yɛ akɔ mpaebɔ ne sɛ nsi bio
saa asɛm a woka yi na ɛnkyɛ menim sɛ ɛho nsɛm bɛpie hwie bi by the end of by early next week you know bambɔfoɔ de asrafoɔ de ho nsɛm bɛba na ɔmagye ato nso ɔmo yɛ mfomsoɔ ɔmagye ato sɛ mfomsoɔ si wɔ baabi
and that's good
na ɛha ɔmo paa sɛ nneɛma tete saa no ɛbaayɛ na ɔmo mfa nkyɛ na mu deɛ ɔmbɛyɛ ne sɛ the entire recruitment team any HR heads no yɛbɛyɛ mu nyinaa si nkyɛn nti the entire recruitment team no ne HR heads no nyinaa bɛkɔtena nkyɛn because
famina soja for them yɛ discipline
yes wɔn anya ama na
sɛ they will take a very good action
ahye wɔn papaapa sɛ nkwala na hwɛ wɔn nkwa sɛ wɔn papa adwumayɛ na because wɔn so they went through that process
exactly
ansa na wɔn tumi ma bɛdu baabi wɔn aduru nti no wɔn anwu na wɔn te ase na so obi bɛfa saa process no asama na awu a aha wɔn papaapa na deɛ wɔn ka ne sɛ wɔn ɛyɛ nhyehyɛe sɛ wɔn a ɛpirapira no so wɔn tɔ wɔn a na so obetu training kwade a wɔn bɛ mo aba asrafo adwuma no nti wɔn a ɛda hospital so wɔn tɔ wɔn a na sa hoɔden wɔ wɔn kwade a wɔn mo aba afɛ abusua ahodoɔ nso a wɔn ahwere wɔn adehyeɛ no abusua no wɔ ɔpɛ no a wɔn bɛtumi ayi obi ama na bɛsi wɔn adehyeɛ no wɔ ɔhwere ne nkwa no anamu ama ɔno nso wɔn afa no ɛwɔ soja adwuma no ɛna ɛno nso no akyi nso wɔn san de ɛto gye kyerɛ mu sɛ wɔn ate ɛbɛdwakuo bi anasɛ wɔn bɛkyekyɛ saa centers mu mako enum 5 sub centers ɛwɔ nkaha sɛnɛ bɛyɛ nkwalaa no ɛbɛyɛ na wɔn ɛde ho nneɛma nyinaa ɛho amanabo nyinaa bɛba before Thursday a ebi a wɔn bɛhyɛ ase sɛ wɔn bɛ bibi ɛte saa na akyi nso no wɔn yɛ nhwehwɛmu na obi biara a ɛnam ne nsa so ama saa asɛm no si yɛn so no ɛna ɔsɛ severe sanctions ɛna ɔbɛ apply to saa oni no nti also Ghana for yɛn kan akoma to yɛn no mu tu ho na mo papaapa nti press release ne ba ndim sɛ ne nyinaa bitumi ayɛ na yɛn kɔ chief justice
minister by me raise a question about $750 million. Minister created the impression say a huge chunk of it was supposed to go for the Ofanko and Tunsamam Road. Emma me try say me draw minister attention to a seminar wedding or can. But minister insisted. But you see, Makoyi the parliamentary document, the agreement between the government of Ghana signed by Honorable Kweku Kwatin and the clerk, spelling out the 750 million near the bay. Dear Edikan, of Anko to Nsawam Road, and yes, 750 million. That's not the cost of it. The cost of it is 300 million. Ghana buying Ekwaji 750 million. No. Now, or the emu 200 million. Pacho uteni. Emu 200 million. And an echo of Anko Kwine. It's a minute I created the impression, say, majority of it was supposed to go to the Ofanko Kwino, Nasikano, Anko. It is not an accurate reflection. So I want to read to you. Yeah.
Na akwa hodo na ekeka ka ho.
Me read it to you.
Akwa hodo na ekeka ka ho no $750 million no. Etumi ya sa akwan no.
Me read it to you. Once I catch you say enya
akwan. I'm here for my 10 minutes.
Okay.
So
I'm just wrapping up. I just want to stay say na enya akwan. Because it even once can say other things. Na me nua say eya akwan. Enya akwan. So I want to read to you Anuni.
What was
the response?
Oh yeah, we'll be signing a question on my response.
What was the response?
Yeah,
but that's why I am clarifying. They made sure on say the impression was created as though necessary sikani nyina ko ofanko dodo na ko ofanko.
Okay.
And anko. Now,
okay.
200 million according to the budget agreement. And I never say call fanko.
Okay.
That 200 million in
Okay.
Number 2, a Joso Konongu Road. And no, and I hear that bypass. No, 75 million. Number 3, completion of Nsawam Apedwa Road project. A year and no na what Nsawam total dual carriageway now.
I'm interested in the figures.
And also 10 million. Swami interchange and local road network. And no 47 million per. And the command Swami interchange. Swami interchange is more than 47 million. Number 2, completion of Flower Port interchange, which is the War Palace Mall now. Here we are, connecting East Legon to Cantonment, and also complete figure and only 30 million. Remember, say when you get the total figure for every project, a part of it. Construction of Kwabena Peviasi Road project. I think say now I don't know now we refer no. And also 10 million.
So mine yet.
No, the project started with 10 million per coin. It doesn't mean it's a total.
$10 million should be able to construct that road.
No. I don't know how many.
Yes.
We have to see the total cost of the contract.
No problem.
You cannot just say
items.
It's very important. Completion of
we're talking about the Minister of Finance.
Eastern Corridor Lot 5 and 6, 70 million. Completion of Enchikrom Adoso, 98. Purchase of rolling stock and spare parts, 30. Completion of stadium infrastructure for all African games, 140.
Okay.
These were the items.
Okay, Kofi.
That went into the
1 second.
I said the call
140.
140 million.
Kofi. Atu fositi hono o te se me amete he tie me figure ya wabobo nyina no item ni de ohin na gisika ne kese bodi na me
tie 200 million
for what
to of Anko Road
oba ye no osisika ni dodo no ye chiche ade no sika ni dodo no de e call ye no ayo of Anko once wo kinkan sika ni 200 million e call of Anko the can ya chicha ni kakra endru of Anko sika
I think nkebetum aboa our viewers say to me can because that is ke nyano no so what you kwanen but we are part of it and America
nyano na ye nyina
because the 20 million no as it was nyina cry
yes
so what was the
total cost of the road is 300 million
300 million yes
but 200 million was given out to Maripoma okay and unti na to force in catch say ono so buy no wa betua 75 million meaning that Maripoma is still owed about $25 million. Okay, the na me person me chile say the impression was created as though majority I say I said,
but that is what you just like greater percentage of it.
Mr. Ato forcing.
But that is you are just reading. Because once working items say go home no. Because your farm now kasa minister na no, I see that's my worry. I don't know kasa minister na nka no kure. Once working can
but even minister we have completion of some of them. Some of them were not completed.
Dabi o na make sure say
by completion.
And that's why what people did you want to see $200 million.
There was a completion of Enchikrum.
They make sure say
Enchikrum can so say omunyai.
Kwaya na wakike nyina so ye nye.
Enchikrum
Sika no so ya butu.
What is his point?
That's what man kasa yan come back to my point I say. The point I am making is me catch minister say 200 million and a call towards that project. The impression was created as though minister can say sikano yamfa nya de ese yede na dudu na sanke ko aha no entimi anko ama ono kra baaye no wabefa bi de aka ho na me pese me kire say in this agreement no the na ese ekoni nyina akoye towards that
Kofi say 10 minutes na
Kofi anya
abai no na account the whole
meaning out of the 200 million
it's kind of
watch certificate what that got one we share internal so waka na fie ejuma na nkodo oben we twa $77 million na wala 200 million what the marpoma na aduma wo ya to am ya batu yi wala 200 million wo ya ndeba to ba ya
Kwabena
200 million wo ya ndeba to ba ya
Kwabena to Peduase kwan no me makofa so da se sa kwan de etua $10 million $10 million se say sa kwan pa no mabu yen
All African games 140 million.
All African games.
That time in the stadium, no grow the whole. Why you wage add something small? Also,
140 million.
What?
No, you don't understand what
140 million.
Because we are international.
The point is that for what he
okay.
Anabasi account for Chief
Justice, they say no margin to.
Ajaji for bebre wo krom ha omo ye adwuma. Ye de omo so omo de asamtene ne ye adwuma. Ebi nso wo ho a alabraka. Wo hwe judgment ni bia. Law keken wakin wa kwaso anti o ye nyina ni makenkan. We judgment ni bia. Sabi ebi ha adwene. Inti Chief Justice enhwe. Na won bebre wo mo yade o omo yade dodo na kakra bi nso wo mo a Kwabena chire bedi nkomo
mate
ha dwene na akwa kanso ani a chire o say
Bondi Kwabena America o Chief Justice asem ho say he was brutally honest e wa tell you asem o kan no kofo na yi no ba he's one of the most experienced Supreme Court ho in fact omo ba bebre ni ho a omo ben no in experience Supreme Court 20 ejidi say ofata se be man kwa na wa ye adwuma ebinom se na nka toko no asem ne yenka nwie ye odi akoko ba bi bebre but Ghana is sovereign nation and Ghana and say that leg of arm of government no ye man that whole pine abra will be case e wo continue e ye ne kwan so say parliament e be Chief Justice because he was speaker or president was for the executive judiciary so nya omo head obeye adwuma na atai asem na okan no na me feel say even though he was anally brutally honest no nanka ehu hia so beka nipa bebre wo ho mo security a o mre beko ogbo mo nka ho asem na se ne okan no say o man 70 years because no sure say obeba na wa be hete ne family no
e bi kra no didi agro
ana me kan say ba wa ka to won krofo ebebobo ho aka ho asem say be woni ho na iri ni ho asa o man so wo ho 70 years na bi o san ba bi mu a oni ba be enti yes say judges no o mo make judgment a omo use omo personal interest. Even though we know say a judge in the mood no e bet me affect
me da Kofi
Aja
2 minutes ni
me de me kan say ye ma me toko no baby o bia on kafra na say wo ye adwuma na o colleagues edidi wase a ya
nti obi na didi na say
oh na then de course we wan
obi na didi
bogus petition ko we petition
na en nkrofo na didi
obi ye adwuma na wa transfer ne worker o se no e constitute say ye pam no obi ye adwuma na wo kire na adwen say o mampanyi ye was a judges we me susu say o consider o mo a a good idea eno e ya de pam obi free adwuma. These were the reasons why. These were the reasons why. Ya de pam maame no. Ya. Yura Mahama kachre say ono oba no. Obe paki court no with NDC judges. He said it. Oh, Oshia the NDC lawyers. And Okache say prepare. When I come, I'm also going to appoint you. He said it. This is not an issue to be debated. Number 2, Obaye no, Yura Mahama Baye no. In 10 months, we appointed 77 judges. 77 judges in 10 months. Ekufuado in 8 years appointed 110. So say Yura Mahama done the judicial system and NDC judicial system. Inti Yura me ma me tokonu, baby a wo bia no. Kafra, nyame obedi wasema ma na wo share ene judicial system wa. Acting Chief Justice. It took asa appointed another acting Chief Justice to the acting Chief Justice. Obi e pebiadi. So the point is, who free him na who buy e na who tokonu.
Only one commend.
And I make sure so obi e pebiadi. Acting Chief Justice to another acting. It is also to appointed another acting. The point, Agya Kwabena, the point I am making to you is me ma me tokonu kafra.
Okay. Kafra, why dey kafra?
Ada ni bewu ana. E plan ye. Se kwen bia e be fa so e be.
Ofi ma me ni bewu ana. Kafra se se.
Eti ma me kafra.
Ada ni bewu.
Kristo obedi ama.
Me da Kristo obedi ama. Na no pa ye. Thursday. When was some of kan Thursday. Thursday say na o kan ho ata yi asem. Na me o kan o fa so. Na no le pa ye. Enne Ghana judicial system aye NDC judicial system. Na some no kan ye no. Etu a judges for ho nyina ya NDC for.
A judges for ho nyina enra no no mo ye MPP for. E no mo ka kire ye say tokonu ye MPP women's organizer. That time no na Mahama ka kire ye say ono so de ne de be ka ho no be parking court no. That time no nim say a judges ho nyina
me da say MC afro de me oba me. Me da say
Kofi no
Eja kasa o. Eja ma me ye ma mumbo omampanyin jo mama na bawdo. There we too one ma pepe Justice Paul Bafuboni, Chief Justice. We too man Akunya don't was some man in that capacity. Mr. President, Yamambo. The man a police services so. So ma ora yohunu. Even though butcher 1 year penal, amend Akunya so that he goes home as a former IGP. The same with Paul Bafuboni as a former Chief Justice. If you small papa was sumi, there Otina Supreme Court was 17 years. Then chat into better was 17 years wa Kofi as Supreme Court judge. But Aman Akunya there all Kofi as Chief Justice for 1 year. Obi be a bit 2 years, and then you enjoy home. Mamusia was in this home with better ye. O send there. As it be a baby, a boom akunta. And to say, Eba akunta, as a one kama. On one shred there, you coffee no just was it. Young coffee no work at show there, you may ye. 1 a year. All the babies are, and more can you drive more conani to bedem. Mammy, no man won't come and people you soon do. Will you soon, Papa?
No come back to.
Oh, Mamma Paddy, I forget to be the case, or the within short time, case on the anapa ya be na wapan and nkofo want na case no do
say ene
what you see papa o man no fan
say no dey uti o
me say
na dey wo dey ka no
o man no fan
me say
no dey uti
wo ka on dey no wa
o be busa say na
say me bisa no me
ko so me yo mo tuma se
na dey wo ka on dey no wa
ma mi anope ye ma o dey ma mi anope ye
ma na
mami ni bewa
mami wọ́n
bewa na
kofi mami wọ́n from brekwando wọ́n from brekwando
ewa ti akupara mami ni wasi ni bewa
unti na office oku so dey say no so kofi o wọ́n from constitution na atakara forces I want to shema
mo yin na choma ha ma
Mr President on was article 4 on the buyer
oda se wa
Article 146 ultimately the bogus petition now they are implementing.
I'm a bogus petition. I'm a bogus petition.
Sorry,
Chief Justice. Chief Justice. Listen to the title. Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni. Paul Chow. That criminal cases in our Benina, corruption cases in our Benina. Remember, you for more than 6 months.
You're fine.
You're clear when you within 6 months. So that this country can move forward.
Okay.
The system is weak.
All right.
Let's strengthen the system. So within 6 months, all the criminal cases, corruption cases are involve these appointees and politicians. You know, young clear one in terms so that we can move forward as a nation.
All right.
And say, Yamin show. Yamin tu unkom so. Na iwe jume ye. Non so Ghana phone.
Kofi anope bi da so ba e.
Kofi. Onya ya ko amo.
Kofi bi da se.
Pe bi aka
Kofi so be ni ti. Ebo mi da se. Yebeko yegba we top base ho na Bethel Worship Center Church of Pentecost ho na Solomon owusu ono no communication director edema United Party ni sister no yedi ne na wotweda enti yefi ha yebeko ne yakokota na chi na odedi na enti bi production team ni nyina se solo omo hyeden papa Randy ne Munkala ni nyina enti yebeko na yakoko Do you know one Rita Donkoba?
Yes,
Mr. Classmate. Yes. Also share from London.
Oh yeah. That's for Ghana. 29th Ghana yedi 82nd.
Ghana se mo de won.
Koforia Ghana. Yedi 82nd speech and prize giving day.
Yeah, until Rita on come the amano. Rita mi nua ba pa anti Rita Donkoba se me kanjo so wo ye ni meet secondary school.
Yes sir.
Enti anope ye de besia na mada timu na se ene enkomo twetwe no ye no wahu I say fie enkomo no sa na ye no na yes ni nyina ne say oman ba ko na ye wom se nipa ba ko na mom da be na de wanya politics ko politics na mom no asabi na anope kai kan say bi ansa na moba ene say ye nchira hoho ye pa hoho na mom se da hoho be go system no mu no yan so ne omo so hwe say way by as asylum seeker way by as refugee way by so be ye adwuma ni yan so ne omo so hwe wo mo esafata se egba motena Ghana ha wo mo esafata no boko isan say message subio osi no 9 months for call operation and saying omo chi nipa 36
oh free here
emu 32 finije 4 pen e Ghana for
are you a free as some kind na no kre
emu 30 say
on say ye call abato na you a free ka say foreigners
who can make
it galam say on say kan me ka say no boa
no if you mo kan ye there waka fa wana ba
one area operation koye no nipa 36 no emu 32 eye Nigeria 4 pen Ghana for there then you are sitting on time
no even Okada and all these people no
Okada Yakupon ya do ma e be shia da se ne ya kam da mu nyina ase ma mo